Prices are unbelievable. Before we do anything, let's call Great Canadian Solar.
There's a better way to go solar. Great Canadian Solar provides honest advice and fair pricing to save you from overpaying. They're easy to deal with and will never put pressure on you to buy. As a trusted local business for over 15 years, Great Canadian Solar will support you in your solar journey. Visit greatcanadiansolar.com and call today to get started.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. My name is Tyler Smith, and you are never alone. NotAloneCo.com. It's okay to not be okay.
Oh, Canada. Jiffy Lube is here to keep you moving through mornings like these. Full synthetic oil changes, quality Pennzoil products, tire checks, battery tests, and everything else your car needs to get through our winters. Stop by Jiffy Lube for fast, easy, warranty-approved service. No appointment, no hassle. Just dependable service right when you need it. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving through this. Across rural Alberta, volunteers and community groups work hard to make life better for their neighbors, creating new playgrounds, better rinks, and gathering places that bring us together. Vision Credit Union is proud to lend these local heroes a helping hand. Apply today for a Helping Hand grant up to $10,000 to support your community's next big idea. Let's make great things happen together. Applications are open until January 31st, 2026. Learn more at whatsyourshare.ca.
Ho, ho, ho! 'Tis the season to find the perfect gift at the perfect price at Leduc Goldsmiths.
The annual Christmas sale is on now with 10 to 25% off all in-store products. All natural and lab-created diamond engagement rings up to 25% off with a wide selection available. You'll have no trouble finding the right Goldsmith has years of expertise to help your ring. Leduc Goldsmiths on Main Street, Leduc. Leduc's Jewelry Store. Family operated for 30 years.
Hockey talent from across the there for nearly 3 minutes. Draisaitl, the boom shot, back to Draisaitl, across McDavid. USA and Europe. See the speed, skill, and intensity of world-class hockey right at home. Fully bet packages are on sale now with adult and student pricing available. Get your tickets before they sell out at vikingcup.ca.
At this special time of year, McEwen's Fuels and Fertilizers extends best wishes for a happy holiday season and sincere thanks. Merry Christmas from all the staff at McEwen's Fuels.
Measles outbreaks are occurring in Canada, including Alberta. These outbreaks are highly preventable. Measles is an extremely contagious disease that is spread easily through the air. The best way to protect yourself, your family, and your community is to ensure you are up to date with your immunizations. Don't get measles.
1440.
Measles to find out if you're up to date and what to do if you're not. A message from the Government of Alberta.
If you've got a smart speaker, get it to play Sports 1440.
And it doesn't matter when you listen, as we roll out the Sports Talk
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Edmonton's home for sports radio is Sports 1440.
The Jason Gregor Show.
I've been out there for nearly 3 minutes. Draisaitl, the boom shot, back to Draisaitl, across McDavid.
For Draisaitl and the entire bench to celebrate. on Sports 1440.
Oh, here's McDavid right through the...
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Bounces right to the back. Over the fence. To beat the champ. You gotta knock him out. The Dodgers stand tall and win back-to-back titles.
Well, a wintry Wednesday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Drive safe. It's rather wintry out there. The good news is the snow is supposed to stop here in the next few hours. But when you make your drive home today, just give yourself a little bit of extra time so everybody gets home safe and sound. We got a loaded show for you today. As always, is brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where the original, the OG of lotteries, $649, $40 million gold ball jackpot tonight. And while you're at PlayAlberta.ca, feel free to check out the Jason Gregor Show odds boosts that we have every day, every weekday, that is, at PlayAlberta.ca. Get some extra boosts. We've got the Wings over a struggling Utah team, and Carolina over the Predators, both to win by 2. So check that one out. And then also the OKC Thunder, they lost a game. If you're ever thinking that they would win, this is probably a game to bounce back, and look at the over in that. So you can check out that as well. We got lots to discuss. We're going to get to the Order game. But, man, we got a great guest to start the show. Business of Sport. Usually we do it at 4 o'clock. We're going to do it at 2 o'clock today because we're going to have the president and the CEO of the LA Dodgers. Stan Kasten is going to join us. And I'm telling you, this guy has had an unreal career. He was the youngest GM in NBA history with the Atlanta Hawks way back in 1979. So we'll talk to him about that. Now he's been with the Dodgers. He's got an innovative hub. Of course, they are the founders, really, of the PWHL. Like, this guy's had his hands in lots of things. He was actually the president of the Atlanta Thrashers, as well as the Braves and the Hawks at the same time. So I think he knows what he's doing. So this will be, if you're into business and all sorts of things about sports, you want to listen to Stan. Is coming up momentarily with Rich Winter. The Orders, of course, Leon Draisaitl. I don't think anyone's surprised. He got his 1,000th point. Ended up with 4 of them. McDavid had 4 of them, and the Orders beat Pittsburgh 6-4. The score, I think, looks closer because the Oilers gave up 2 late goals again. Like, Tristan Jarry's save percentage is just taking an ass kicking in the final 3 minutes of a game. Like, the games are over, and they give up some really good chances. So people will say, look at save percentage. That's where you got to dig deeper sometimes. If you only want to look at one stat, you can always be misleaded, right? Stats, lies, statistics, right? All depends on how you want to use it. But either way, the Oilers won the game, and now they move on. They're in Boston tomorrow. Also today, we got 2 great packages for the month of giving. And you know what? It's fitting that we have these today because you look outside. How many of you right now are just like, you know what? I love where I live, but there's days like today where I question my sanity. I question my sanity to see, why am I living here? But so if you need something to warm you up and have you thinking about summertime, because we have the greatest summers, the longest daylight around, it's unreal. We all love it here in the summertime, in the springtime, in the fall. And really, I don't mind the winter, just a few days like today. So package number 1 today. You're going to go fishing with Louis DeBrusk. Now, this guy is a fisherman from Get Hooked Fishing Adventures. So you and 2 of your buddies, so you 4 will be on the North Saskatchewan River with Oilers color commentator Louis DeBrusk. You fish all day long. You go at different spots along the river. You get a catered lunch provided. Now, the river fishes best in August to October. The watery clarity is its finest. Mike from Get Hooked, he's your guide. So don't worry. It's not like you're going out there. Where do we go? No. You got a guide. You got a diehard fisherman. Like, if you like fishing and you like stories and you like hunting, oh my God, Louis is your guy. So 833-401-1440 on that one. You're going to stop there. You'll teach you how to gold pan even along the banks of the North Saskatchewan River. And we're going to help out Operation Friendship Senior Society with that. So that's package number 1. Package number 2. is dinner for 12 at Vivo Ristorante. So it's you and 6 friends. You and your 5 friends will dine at Vivo with the Oilers broadcast team, Gene Principe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and their wives. So you want to come with your wives, you want to come in a group, it's your choice. It's a 5-course meal, wine pairings, beverages of your choice, cocktails, beer, you name it. Dinner happens at a date that works for your group, as well as Gene. He'll be organizing it. All the money's going to Sports Central, which does a great job to get kids in the game. So you want to hear all the behind-the-scenes stuff. So maybe Gene, who knows, maybe he'll have an intro for you at dinner time, kind of like before the game. Before dinner starts, Gene will come up with an intro for you. It wouldn't surprise me if he did. So we'll actually have Jack on the show later on today, too. I talk a little Oilers, but also talk about this. So, and Vivo, man, if you've never been there, their fettuccine's unreal. Oh, everything there is the sea bass, the fettuccine, the salads, and the dessert. Oof, who doesn't like a good dessert? And then they make you a few special appetizers for these type of dinners. And, you know, if you want, they'll say, hey, do you want to mix up a drink? They'll come up with some cocktails. You will have a great time with Wilbur and everybody down there at Vivo. So package 1, you're going fishing. Package 2, you're dining. It's for 12, your group of 6, along with Principe, DeBrusque, Michael, and their wives. So 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440, as we welcome in Rich Winter to the show. Rich, how you doing, my man?
Great, till I got my car this morning. This afternoon, it was nice when I drove to work this morning, but I think I'll see a movie on the way after this show before I head home. It'll take me 2 hours to get out of here.
Oh, it will be, slow going, serenity. Well, actually, you know what? You get off here, you'll be done at 3. You won't be in rush hour.
Yeah,
You'll be all right. I actually, once you got on the main roads, I didn't find it was just take your time, serenity now. If you have to go somewhere, just give yourself an extra 10 or 15 minutes of what it would normally take you, and away we go. So we are going to have Stan Kasten is going to join us momentarily on this. Jesse opens it up at 500 on the fishing trip, and Dale's in at 1,000 on the dinner, and we're off and running.
I'll give you a 10 if Gene won't show up.
Pardon?
I'll give you a 10 for the other thing if Gene won't show up.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Well, it'll be good. And I think we do have our big guest of the day today. He, of course, is the president and the CEO of the 2-time defending Major League Baseball champion, world champions, the LA Dodgers. But that is like, when you read his resume, like I've had a lot of guests on the show. This resume will mock up against anybody. 27 years of age, he became the youngest GM in NBA history with the Atlanta Hawks, was there for 11 years. Then he became, he's actually added president's role, middle of that in 1986. At one point, he was the president of the Braves, as well as the Thrashers, as well as the Hawks. Amazing. He's also a 2-time executive of the year back-to-back. I think he's the only guy who's ever won executive of the year twice back-to-back in MLB. And of course, now he's the president and CEO of the Dodgers. Also, he's involved with the PWHL and always looking for new innovations. Very excited to have Stan Kasten on the show. Stan, welcome to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for that lovely eulogy. I really appreciate it.
Well, it's actually funny that you say that, because I look at we actually with my mom, we did when my mom was 75, because I'm like, you know what? Everybody says all the nice things about you when you're dead. So we kind of had a live thing with all her family and all her grandkids saying, what grandma meant to her. And like, that was the greatest gift she ever had, like hearing kind of what their grandkids, well, I remember grandma.
What are you saying?
No, I'm saying, Stan, like, it's good to applaud you on, like, man, you have lived a life full, and you're not, like, you're a young buck still. But we're going to talk a lot about what you're doing now, but I want to go back to 27 years of age, 1979. You become the youngest GM in MLB history. How's that happen? Take me back, how you're able to get that job, and what did you do to lead up that you obviously interviewed well enough that they're like, this is our guy?
Well, I was working for the Hawks, and kind of in between other things that Ted Turner had. We had a common owner. It was the first year of running the Hawks. He needed some help there, and I had just been hired to work for the Braves right out of law school. And so I was still doing a little of this and a little of that, and then things started happening. 2 years later, he had by that point hired a full-time GM. it just did not work out. And one night, the guy left under mysterious circumstances. And the NBA was much smaller in 1979.
Yeah.
And we had a half a dozen people in the front office. And I was like the only guy left. I mean, I had a law degree. I'd been doing business. And, he said, okay, Stan, you're the GM. And that's the rest is history, I guess. I was not particularly prepared, and I had no natural network yet. But I worked really hard, and oftentimes that's what you need to get the job done. So there I was, a GM.
Yeah. What was the biggest learning curve for being an MLB GM for you?
And I was NBA GM. I was only a president in MLB.
Okay, sorry,
but it's the same.
Yeah.
I had to learn all the rules and the contracts and the collective bargaining agreement and the Constitution, the bylaws. That's easy. It's routine. It's establishing your network, learning everybody that you can, knowing who you can trust, who you can't trust, knowing who tells you the truth and who likes to fib maybe a little. And the worst part was, having to deal with agents. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Stan, I'm here.
That was figuring up the personalities, the nuances. Over time, the only thing that works is if you have a good staff and good people around you. I had to learn who those people were. That was a process that really took years. But that was it. It was figuring out the people, learning who you could get something from, knowledge, and who you could give something to. That was a process that took a while, but it was a fun that part was a lot of fun.
You had one of the most dynamic players, like Dominique Wilkins. Is like when I think like Michael Jordan. Like I grew up, I was big fan of basketball at the time, but Dominique was one of the most electrifying players of my youth that I watched. And obviously, Stan, you have now in all your travels and all the different sports, obviously you look at the Dodgers and you guys have no shortage of superstar players, but and every sport is different, right? Like the personalities in the NBA are maybe a little bit bigger at times than in other sports. What was the most fun about interacting as a GM with such high-level talented players so early in your career?
Well, it's funny you mentioned Dominique and that he was electrifying. For that first year, I had a rule that whenever we referred to him in a press release, we added the word electrifying. It was always the electrifying Dominique Wilkins. That was his title. So we worked hard at it. Yeah, I was a GM. I had players who were older than me, and that's not common.
Yeah.
But it was understanding different personalities. I'd loved sports all my life. I'd been involved in sports even before I graduated school, and it's all fun. Now, there's an awful lot mundane about it. You have to fill out insurance forms, and you have to comply with all kinds of regulations. Mundane running a business stuff. And I was also, after a while, the president of the team, which meant I had to also oversee all of the business stuff, which is critically important because unless you're succeeding on that side, you're not succeeding at all. And so the stuff you think of as a fan as being fun, it was fun for me too, but it was an awful lot of work, and I didn't mind that. But to succeed, and you'll hear me say this probably again on this show because I say it all the time. The key is hire good people, let them do their job. And I always had a lot of luck with having good people around me. That is, to the extent I've had any success in my career, it's all because of that.
Stan Kasten joins us. He is currently the president and CEO of the Los Angeles Dodgers, but has had just a remarkable career in pro sports. And we're even going to get into what you're doing with the PWHL, Stan, which I think is fantastic, and the Innovative Hub, which that in itself is amazing. To me, you're somebody who never seems satisfied of just staying with the status quo. Like you came in when the youngest GM at the time in the NBA. You built Atlanta into a perennial contender. You guys had 4 consecutive 50-win seasons. 50 wins is hard to do in 80 games. You do it year after year. You won the executive twice in a row. You talk about hiring good people. And you said, you know what, maybe I wasn't the most, ready at the time when I got the job, but you obviously learned on the job and got better. How did you learn to hire the right people?
That's why I said at the top, it was establishing a network and understanding who you could rely on, who you couldn't rely on, who would tell you 90% of the truth, who would tell you 10% of the truth. And it's just work. It's working people. I enjoy meeting people in my line of work much more than I enjoy meeting, let's call them civilians, because all they want to do is talk about my work, which I don't want to when I'm out of here. But when I'm talking to colleagues, I'm really interested in what they have to say. And that interest, that curiosity helped me along the way, just trying to find the next best person. And everywhere in my career, in all 3 sports, when I had an opportunity to add someone better in a spot than whoever I had now, whether it was a coach or a GM or head of marketing or whatever, I always went and tried to get the next best person I could to make our teams better, our businesses better. But I also had extraordinary support from ownership along the way, whether it was in Atlanta or Washington and now Los Angeles. Owners who understood how I saw things, understood how I was going about this, and gave me the support and the tools that we needed to succeed. All those things together, it was all fun. And along the way, we also won every now and then, and winning's a lot of fun. Winning's a lot of fun.
Well, I think, Stan, it's Rich here. I think one of the things I've always admired about you is, you tell it like you see it, and you've been very straight to me on everything we've talked about. And I think that's
and you always like what I say, Rich. That's true. Rich and I would be very straight with each other.
Yeah. Oh, what is that? What is a hockey agent? What the hell does he want from me today? Right. But I think I think a lot of people in sport aren't very candid. And I think actually the most successful executives are. I just think it's so much easier to be direct and forthright. And I think that's been one of the things that I've experienced with you. And I think that's a trait that has really stood well over time. And I think young people need to know is, be direct, be authentic. And if there's anybody more authentic than Stan Kasten, I don't know who he is. And I think that's, you really are who you are, and you bring what you bring. And at the end of the day, that's been your calling card.
Well,
integrity.
thank you, Rich, for the kind words. But let me say this. It's also gotten me into trouble. Yes, I am direct.
Yeah.
I am direct, okay? But I'm also have a self-confidence when I'm pushing something I believe in, and I'm passionate about almost everything I do. Blessing, curse, whatever you call it, I am. And too often, the fact that I'm self-confident and passionate translates into arrogance, which I'm never trying to do. But that's how it always comes off. And I'm aware of that, and I try to avoid it, so far unsuccessfully. So yeah, it's a mixed blessing, but I don't know how to do it any other way than being direct. Now,
well, have your convictions and stand by them is it's a key to success. It's also risky, but I think it's the longevity that you've displayed is a large part of that. And I think we see it in other executives too.
And Stan, you have the unique experience of being with 3 different professional sports leagues: hockey, baseball, basketball. And they're very they're big, and some are bigger in different levels. But having been a president in all 3, the differences of them, how different did you have to go about your business when you're the president of an MLB team compared to the president of an NBA team? Is there a distinct difference?
No, I will tell you, and this surprises people, there's no difference being the president.
Okay.
Because the pillars that I believe in to building a business work for a franchise in any of those sports, they work for businesses. And when I do my corporate speeches to non-sports entities, I talk about the same 3 things. In sports, it's your team, it's your customer, it's your community relations programs. In business, that is your product, your customer, and your brand. And those same things, if you pay attention, now I could write a book on each one of those pillars, but the basics are the same. Being a GM is different, okay? You can't be a GM in more than one thing. Those things are very, very, very different. I was telling one of my scouts here yesterday that one day I convened a meeting of all three of my international scouting departments, basketball, hockey, baseball, to see what we could learn from each other, whether it was people or processes or how to handle things. At the end of the day, and it was interesting for all of the people, but we concluded there was almost no overlap in those disciplines because back then, probably still today, baseball was largely a Caribbean and a Pacific Rim matter, and basketball was a Western European matter, and hockey was an Eastern European matter, largely. And so there was very little interesting. The basketball coach at USC was one of my assistant coaches, and we were talking about this. He was in those meetings. We were talking about this the other day. It was fascinating for everyone to hear, but at the end of the day, they concluded there was no overlap. So again, being the GM is different from being a president. I assume, take over a widget company tomorrow and find a way to succeed. It might not be as interesting to me, but I think the principles are the same.
Being obviously the GM is very different. You're making trades, you're signing contracts. You got to really kind of understand the people and the humans in your room and what makes them tick, and you're looking to improve them. And then you obviously have to hire coaches to make sure you're the right guys. Did you ever have an itch to want to be like, did you ever think, hey, maybe I could be a GM of an NHL team or in Major League Baseball or anything? Because you did it in the NBA and you did it very successfully, as I mentioned. Yeah. 4 consecutive seasons of 50 wins, and I think you made the playoffs 7 consecutive seasons.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Not really. I thought when I was a GM that I could well end my career as a GM. I was very comfortable, very happy, and I loved what I did. The company at the time, working for Ted Turner, needed me to do other things. And again, remember, I had an Ivy League law degree just sitting around also. So, so he thought I could do it, and it turned out I had some ability there too. And then things just started. I kept climbing a ladder that I didn't even want to be on, but it was hard to go back after that. I really haven't thought. Could I be a GM in the other sports? I suppose after a period of a learning curve time, but not really. Okay, I think once I left the full-time GM business, I didn't see myself going back.
Stan Kasten joins us. He's the president and CEO of the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Stan, from 1979 until 2026, the major change in pro sports is just the amount of money that athletes are making and teams are making. Like, it's a totally different level from what you started with, right? And as a president, and you see that and the evolution, like it's a massive business now, right? Like, and sports is still super fun, don't get me wrong, but having been on the inside, when you compare 1979 to 2026, like I see from the outside, the money's changed and, the advancements in nutrition and sleep patterns and, charter flights and all those sorts of things. But what's the biggest challenge in 2026 that was maybe different than what you had as a president in the 80s and the 90s?
Well, you're right. Obviously the money is different. You all remember in whatever, when I signed John Concat for $2 million a year. I got killed, destroyed for how outrageous that contract was. It was $2 million. So that's a little different these days. The advent of greater reliance on analytics has transformed all of the sports. Okay. Just recently, before I got back into PWHL, I had occasion to revisit hockey things that I hadn't really touched base on for the last 10 years. And I was shocked to learn the new metrics that did not exist when I was running an NHL team. And that's just recently. Mm-hmm. There was that. And then the continued evolution of the broadcast environment. That's changing. We there's a truism in television, all media, that delivery of your product changes like every 25 years. First it was the telegraph. First it was newspapers, then the telegraph, then radio, then television, then cable, and now it's streaming. And the next thing is probably little dancing holograms on your coffee table. I don't know what the next thing is. Ted Turner had a profound belief that he would never invest in hardware. He would just invest in software, just control the content. Because if we control the content, we'll find the way to optimize the monetization of our product. So, it's not, I won't say it's a difference in kind. It's a difference in degree, though. Everything is more. Like I said, when we were at the Hawks, we had like 6 people, and now we have 206 people in a front office, and much more than that at baseball. So everything has grown. Everything has gotten bigger, a lot more specialties. And because of that, that's where you have seen the professionalization, both on the business side and on the team side. The team side, we now have PhDs in our office on the player team side, right? Doing analysis for what pitch is working better and what sequence. I'm serious, PhDs are working for us across sports, doing the same things we had scouts doing with their eyeballs half a century ago. And that's a big change. That's a big change.
Big change. And we're not seeing a lot of that yet, Stan, in hockey. You're far ahead. And I think one of the things that I've looked at over the last few years, you really, when Guggenheim and you took over the Dodgers, everybody thought the price you paid was insane. And then you guys immediately got to work on realizing, and I don't know if it was Guggenheim or all of you as a group decided, look, we're going to, maybe like Ted, monetize this. And you created an innovation hub, which at the time was unique. And what was the thinking behind that? And you've had great success with it.
That was our accelerator, which we started in 2015. It's because once we got the team back to where we needed it to be, and we spent a lot of time, energy, money trying to accomplish that. Okay, what's next? We're filling up our stadium. What's next? We can raise prices and all that, but what's next? And what's next is brand extension. Now, what can we do with the Dodger brand that will help us grow the Dodger business? And some of the things we've done is we have spun off into standalone companies the internal competencies we have. We have a business analytics company now that does business for teams across sports. They have clients. We have a baseball and sports analytics team that also advises other teams. We have a design company because we have the great Janet Marie Smith, famous baseball designer, but she's done a lot of other things. She now has her own company while still working for the Dodgers, doing things like that. The accelerator that Rich is referring to, first we had, I think it was 15 company startups that were involved, connected in some way to sports, whether it was apparel, whether it was equipment, whether it was technology, whether it was analytics, whether it was broadcasting. They all had a niche as a startup relating to sports. And we were the first purely sports startup. That company, which is now called Elysian Park, has over 70 companies that we have investments in. And again, this is all about brand extension, trying to do the next thing and trying to look around the corner for whatever might be coming.
Stan Kasten joins us, President and CEO of the LA Dodgers. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. I want to get more into that innovative hub. I want to, what was it about the PWHL that was so exciting for you to want to get involved in that and more? It's a Gregor Show with Rich Rinner on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. December is here. Christmas shopping, Christmas wrapping, Christmas baking, grocery shopping. What about our vehicle? Does it need tires? It's not running? No problem. We got you covered. At Northgate GM, we have a tremendous selection of newer used vehicles, winter tires at cost, and of course, service with a smile. Come in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440. The job won't wait. Why should you? At AWS Welding Supplies and Repairs, conveniently located in Nisku, we've got everything you need to get it done. From product sales to servicing and calibrating machines, we're your one-stop shop. We're a proud, locally owned and operated business, committed to serving our community with a proven track record of customer service. Don't let a broken tool slow you down. We offer fast repairs and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Northwest Crane, available for all your lifting and equipment needs, specializing in selling and servicing cranes. Get lifting at northwestcrane.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.234, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Rich Winter here on Sports 1440. Sports1440.ca, the Gregor Show, always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. And remember, use the promo code Gregor50 and you'll get a free $50 play when you match it on your first $50 donation. PlayAlberta.ca. We're going to have lots of the orders coming up later on the show, but very happy to have our special guest stick with us, the president and CEO of the Los Angeles Dodgers, but involved in so many other things, which I find incredibly exciting. And Stan, I kind of want to get to that a little bit, and we'll finish up with the Dodgers later on. But I want to talk about the innovation hubs that you've bought. You teamed up with Billie Jean King and you had the Trailblazer Innovation Hub, and that obviously got you involved in the PWHL. Kind of walk us through that and how that came about, just the hub first, and then the decision to want to help kickstart the PWHL.
Well, Billie Jean is, of course, a force of nature, and we're proud to even know her, let alone to work with her. And I have gotten involved with some of Billie Jean's other businesses, but she came across these players with the PWHPA, who were basically boycotting the sport of professional hockey because they didn't feel they were treated like professionals. And, she got together with Mark, and Mark agreed to try to make it happen. Well, after about 6 months of it not coming together, Mark sat me down and said, "Hey, Stan, would you do this for me?" And I said, this is such a bad idea. But because I really didn't understand all the dynamics, but he said he wanted to do it. I says, okay, well, yes, I can make it happen, but it's going to be time. It's going to be expensive, and we're going to have to go slow and build slow. He said, fine, whatever. Just can you do this? So I got involved. They were not a union yet. We insisted on them unionizing, and we insisted on doing a collective bargaining agreement before we would ever play one game. Because if we're going to do this, if you want to be professionals, we have to do this right and put rules in place for both sides to know that if we tried it, there were enough motivations for both sides to work. So at our first meeting, and the names that are household names now, but Hillary Knight and Liz Knox and Kendall Coyne Schofield and Sarah Nurse, and who am I missing? And Brianne Jenner. That was the negotiating committee. And I said to them, guys, I've never heard of any one of you, not one. And I've been in sports 40 years. What does that tell you? That tells you we have a long way to go. We have a long way to go to make this happen. So we got to working on it. They'd have demands, and I'd have to get some things to make this a real business, because it wasn't worth the effort if it wasn't going to be a real business someday. And the theme that kept coming through to me every time I talked to any of them was, we just want to be treated like professionals. And what I heard, first of all, what I heard was, duh, we wouldn't do it any other way. We know how to provide professional environments. But the other thing I thought was, holy smokes, these are the best players in the world. Why hasn't anyone treated them like professionals? So we understood that meant, yes, a living wage, but it meant facilities, venues, and trainers, and coaches, and video, and transportation, and housing, and nutrition. It meant all of those things would be required. And they were listing these things, to which I said, as I just told you, duh, yeah, that's exactly what we have in mind. And so it got heated at the end, because that's how collective bargaining works.
Yep.
But we got it done. And 6 months later, we started a league, which kills me, by the way. We started a whole league in less time than it's taking to build one stupid rink in Milan. I don't get that. But we did. I fell in love with the drive, the energy, the passion, the commitment of these players who had basically sat out for 4 years until they could get what they wanted. Now, to be fair, the other league was trying its best under challenging circumstances. We would not be here today but for the efforts of the leagues that came before us, who did a great job, but they didn't have, I think, the professional expertise that we had in our organization, or the capital that Mark Walter was willing to invest in these women. And because of that, 6 months later, we had a league.
It's interesting, Stan, dealing with the women, they understood very early on how to promote themselves. And compared to NHL players, very savvy on the social media side. Did you find that when you were dealing with them?
For sure. And, and it's been fun along the way. Every day we have, the walk-in ceremonies where they're all dressed in whatever they're dressed today. That's a very cool thing. And even though I don't watch it, my wife, who is not a hockey fan at all, she watches it every day. And so, it's connecting with different people. All our players understood it wasn't just about playing games and staying in shape. It was going to be about their time and effort to help supporting this. And that meant being out in your community, conducting clinics, throwing kids pucks before the game and after the game, doing autographs whenever possible. So they understood what was involved. And so we're in just at the beginning of year 3. And as you've noted, I've had an interesting career so far, a lot of things of which I am proud. There are very few things I am more proud of than the PWHL.
Yeah, they're a great group of athletes who've, they've taken a long road in this day and age to get what they deserve, and they've committed a lot to it. And it's a unique group of women to be around because they're very passionate and they're very appreciative, I think, more than anything else. It's a great group of people to be associated with, don't you think?
I do. I've loved all of it. And as you know, I hope you'll be promoting it. We have a game coming up in Calgary, and it's hard to get dates in Calgary, but we do have a game coming up. I urge everyone who's listening to check it out, because everyone who's a hockey fan, once they go to a game, they have the same 2 observations. Holy smokes, it's really fast. Holy smokes, it's really physical. They were not expecting that, but that's what we have, and it's a product.
And it's crazy, and it may be more physical than most NHL games. I find it frightening now when a big hit is now almost the invitation to a line brawl. But in women's hockey, it's much more physical than they.
We don't have brawls because they're still wearing cages, so I think that's a good thing. But you should know, here's where our league stands in the world. In Milan, in the tournament, among all of the countries, we're going to have 64 PWHL players playing in Milan. We have the best players in the world, and that's why it is already recognized as the best league in the world.
Stan Kasten joins us, President and CEO of the LA Dodgers, and of course has involved in many other aspects. Started his career as a GM in the NBA and president of the NBA, the NHL, MLB. Stan, when you started your innovative hub, what was your focus when you originally came about, like the focus and where it is now, and maybe what's coming in the future?
Well, we've had 3 classes, and for right now, I think we're going to hold steady for maybe another year or 2 or more. It was a business play, Jason, right? We had the open door of these brands which were the Dodgers. We had a piece of Chelsea. Now you see how our brands are growing. We have a team in F1 starting in May. We have the Lakers. We have the Sparks. And so we had the brands, and we want to use our brands to attract companies. And that first year, when we didn't know how many people would apply, we had almost 500 applications from startup companies from 37 countries around the world. So it was our brand that was kind of a magnet. And we would tell people, listen, I have a laboratory every night of 50,000 people. We want to try something out. I've got one, a real-time laboratory for you to experiment with, for you to try something out. So whether it's something for fans or something for analytics or apparel, we have, as I said, a laboratory to help develop your product using our connection and our stature in the world of sports. But it's a business play, Jason. We hope to make money someday, and that's what we're still working for.
Now, speaking of making money, the Dodgers, of course, back-to-back titles, won 2 championships. And it's interesting. Some people are like, oh, yeah, but the Dodgers spend more money. Well, everybody can spend the money. It's just you make that choice whether to do it or not. And Shohei Ohtani, though, is unlike a lot of athletes, not just as a player, because I've never seen anybody who can hit and pitch and then, I can't pitch, I'll just steal 50 bases. Like, it's weird. Just the guy is unreal how good he is. But when you signed him, I've read lots of stories that talked about how the ability to market him in his own country was something that you're going to get a lot of that money back just through that. And you being in the marketing game as a president, you talk about making money, like the ability to go to a completely other country on the other side of the world for your sport and help it maximize. Like, that's something that's really, it's I wouldn't say unheard of, but there's not a lot like, and the biggest NBA star was big in North America. And they're big a little bit in Europe, but it's not at the same level, Stan. How has that changed the game in the ability to go, across continents and other places?
Well, that's a very good question. I'm glad you asked it because, yes, we have become very popular in Japan, not making money from Japan over there, but by Japanese sponsors coming over here, wanting to spend their money, Japanese tourists wanting to come over here and spend their money, because it's important to remember in baseball, unlike other sports, we do not control the rights to our brand outside of the city of Los Angeles, a little bit beyond that. Everything beyond that, domestically, and everything internationally belongs to Major League Baseball. So this has been a tremendous boon for Major League Baseball. And we have often observed, and everyone in baseball would agree, the legacy, the history of the Dodgers and everything that came before it, and Jackie Robinson, Sandy Koufax, Fernando Valenzuela, all of that combined with the stature of the best player in the game, that was baseball's golden moment. That was putting its best foot forward. It couldn't have had a better mix of product and location to really help baseball kick off its internationalization hopes and merchandising around the world. Shohei arguably is the most popular player in the world right now. He's on a level with the Messis and the Jordans, and he's still in his prime, so we're fortunate to have him. It's great for the Dodgers and for Dodger fans, but it's even better for all of Major League Baseball.
Stan, you made a lot of different sports with a lot of different teams, and I think we see talent. Talent is very important. I've always said talent will get you into the playoffs, and it's culture that takes you to a championship. And Shotani is obviously an amazing young man, but can you just tell us a little bit about your experience in the importance of culture in the ultimate success and winning the ultimate prize?
Well, first of all, he came in here and he had some suggestions for us about things we could do. And every Asian player who has come over has had suggestions, and that's good because we didn't have that kind of input before. I think we have fostered through our baseball people, whether it's our president of baseball operations, Andrew Friedman, our GM, Brandon Gomes, our manager, Dave Roberts, they are all open to new suggestions. They have a willingness to involve the team in the big decisions. We have a real openness. When someone is being talked about being traded, Rich, as you know, we were straight with them. Said these discussions are happening. They may not happen. They may not. When we tell someone you're not being traded, well, then you're not being traded. So I think you're right. We are very proud of the culture we have built. We think fans, players are happy to come here, not just because we pay a lot of money, and sure, that's a thing, and not just because we're in Los Angeles with a great fan base and a great venue and great weather and all of that, but it's also how we treat players and how we involve them in the running of our business that makes them feel appreciated. Very few players, like almost none, will you ever hear say, boy, I'd never want to play for the Dodgers. I mean,
I think, Stan, a lot of people don't really understand the importance of taking care of your players. Stan, I mean, Phil Jackson talks about love being foundational. Coach Wooden back many years ago, the same thing. And I think a lot of people, it's about the money. But as an agent, I have to tell you, there's just been a number of times you and I met through Marian Hossa. I mean, Marian Hossa turned down $97 million to play for a year to pursue another goal with the Detroit Red Wings. And I think when players feel cared for and a part of the process, that will save you some money, but more important, it'll attract players. And I don't think people realize how important the culture, the family orientation is. And I'm sure you've spent a lot of time developing that.
We do. And we're, as I said, we're very proud of the culture we built. I know that Edwin Diaz, the last player we just signed last week, he was here because of what he had heard from his brother, whom we had and who we cut a year ago, but who loved the experience of being here. And through Kike Hernandez, they are both from Puerto Rico, and he spoke to Kike, and Kike's a free agent. He's not even here at the moment. but we'll rely on the opinions of players who have been here before.
Very important.
We think it's a competitive advantage, and so far that's how it's played out.
Stan, obviously, Toronto and Canada was devastated by the loss, but it was an unbelievable series. Like that's what made it. You obviously, when you win, obviously you're super excited, but just from a baseball fan who was even a neutral fan, they'd say, okay, that was a heck of a series, right? You had superstars on both teams, you had great pitching, and you look at baseball, and there is some concern because that you talked about earlier, even in the PWHA, sometimes CBA negotiations can be difficult. You're a year away from that. And it sounds like you're a big planner. You're always trying to be a step ahead. Any concern about the upcoming CBA negotiations for MLB?
Yeah, it's something we take very seriously. We think there are things we can do to make our product even better. And we think things can be done in a way that are also better for the players. Now, let's wait and see. The owners have not decided on their strategy yet or what kind of plan they want to propose. But I believe there are ways to accomplish both goals and to keep our momentum going. And I know that's what the players want as well.
What I found interesting about baseball is for the longest time, it was one of the most traditional sports. Like you didn't change very many things. But the last few years, they made some drastic changes and they've all worked out, right? Like you eliminate, now you have a DH in the NL. You have a pitch clock. The bases change. Like it seemed like it was so hard, but you look at those decisions like, God, like every one of those moves seems to have paid off. Is there anything else change might be coming to the rules? Do you like everything how it is?
Well, change is just part of sports. You have to keep up and you have to continue to be mindful of what your fans are thinking about where you are. I'm so old. I was in the NBA before we had a 3-point shot.
Yeah.
Okay. Next year, we're going to have the automatic ball strike system. We think that's going to be an improvement. As you said, Jason, recently, the changes we've made, I think, have all been for the better. Some people don't like the review process, but every sport we have to complain. It's better than just complaining about a sport and not knowing what the right call is. So I think we have leadership both in the commissioner's office and at the team level that are interested in doing whatever we can to improve the game. And that's why we're on a good track. It's a good time to be in baseball. And I'm looking forward to the next few years, however long I'm doing this.
Stan, before I let you go, and I really appreciate your time, in your position, you mentioned that you're always looking to hire the right people at all different levels of, some are entry-level positions, some are management, some are very experienced positions. There's lots of people that are huge fans of sports and most of us aren't skilled enough to be on the field. They don't have that physical ability, but have lots of other strengths. If you're looking to hire somebody, whether it's with a technical background, are there certain things that you would recommend in professional sports that if people want to get into it, that they should be looking to do?
Well, first of all, you should know there are always entry-level jobs available. At the end of each season, it's when we staff up. So when a season ends in baseball, that's when there are jobs. Now, usually they're entry-level, which is in sales or in sponsorship service or in PR. Expect to work long hours, but generally speaking, you're having fun. I also tell people, and this is both in baseball and in hockey, a little more recently in basketball. Think about minor league teams, because at a minor league franchise, you spend the summer doing everything. You're selling peanuts, you're taking tickets, you're sweeping up the bases, you're doing everything. What a great grounding in the business of sports. And so they're available. You may have to send out 100 resumes till you get a job, but don't be afraid of going to Apalachicola or Minot, North Dakota, or Grand Forks or Saskatoon. Don't be afraid of that, and spend a year or 2 or 3 until you get good at what it is you want to do, and then think about how you move.
I think it's really important, Stan, because I remember one time I was on the phone with a guy named Darcy, and we're talking about a player in Buffalo, and my wife turned to me and, is that the guy Darcy that picked us up at the airport a few years ago? And I said, yeah, Darcy Regier. And and Darcy started in the minors. He was picking an agent and his player up at the airport, and 5 years later he was a thorn in my side trying to get a deal done in Buffalo. But it really is important. It's so much easier to get into the minor leagues, the Syracuses and others, and it's not that far from there to where we do business.
Stan, thanks so much for this. We really appreciate your time. All the best to you and yours. Have a very Merry Christmas and all the best in the upcoming season. And we look forward to see what else you got on the horizon.
Can I say this is the most enjoyable time I've ever spent with Rich Winter. Thanks, guys. Happy holidays. Good to talk to you.
Okay, Stan. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Stan Kasten. What a career, man. That is unbelievable. Great get, Rich. We appreciate it. To do what he's done from the age of 27 until now, from 1979 until that's 47 years coming up that he's been in professional
and all
sports.
He did in year 46 and 47 was win back-to-back World Series.
Yeah, and it's not just being involved in that. It's in the is it Elysium? Is it
Elysian Park?
Elysian Park.
That Elysian Park is an area in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So I just picked up the name, but yeah, for him to be involved, I mean, to take on the PWHL and do all of that, what he's done there in such a short period of time. But I think he said it when he said he could run a widget company. He's just learned to be a very good executive. He just happened to be playing his trade. And in sports, and I've tried to sell this. If you look at all the great teams now, from the Mumbai Indians in cricket to the LA Dodgers, the Golden State Warriors, the Manchester Cities, the Paris Saint-Germains, those ownership groups have done is said, no, sports is not different. We're going to run it like our core businesses. We're going to have a vision. We're going to hire the right people. We're going to be innovative, and we're going to start measuring things. And Stan's just a good example of that. He's been doing that from a very, very early age.
Awesome. We'll let you go feel better. And,
thanks.
well, I know what we're off for the next few Wednesdays, my man, but we will talk to you in the new year. So have a very Merry Christmas, you and the family and the kids and the grandkids. And so hopefully, you'll be up early with the grandkids with Santa. So try to stay up late.
Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah, especially to all of our Jewish friends at this time.
You betcha, honest. That's Rich Winter joining us. A little early edition of the Business of Sport today, but it was worth it with Stan and Rich. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Weather like this, you don't want your furnace to go down. You know what? Sometimes just check for service, man. It can save you many years on the life of your furnace. LegacyHeating.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Late night in the NHL, 5 games on the schedule. We got the Kings taking on the Panthers. The Red Wings host the Mammoth, Jets in St. Louis. Preds up against the Kings and the Devils in Sin City. In the association, just 2 games. Bulls and Cavs at 6. Also at 6, got the Grizz taking on the Timberwolves. AGHL, Fort Mac is in Camera. Old hosting Grand Prairie, both games at 7. And then the PWHL, Toronto hosting Montreal. Early start in that one at 4:30. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by the voice of the Oilers, Jack Michaels, and Colin Livingston in the Cantor Racing Report. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Mr. Rooter decorates a gingerbread house.
Wow. What did you do here, Mr. Rooter?
Well, we've got a Jube Jube toilet, complete with an icing-based wax seal. The main water line is licorice, red for hot, black for cold. You got your standard marshmallow hot water tank and a candy cane sewer line. And on the outside, candy corn hose bibs. Disgusting, but they get the job done.
To have your Yule clogs fixed, trust one plumber, Mr. Rooter.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Cantork has always been a forward-thinking company, but now that we've turned 25, I can't help but take a minute to take a look back. Thank you to everyone that's been with us along the way.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Edmonton sports fans, stay informed with Sports 1440. Stream us. Listen to us on the AM dial. However you consume this radio station, thanks for listening.
When you have lifting and material handling needs, Northwest Crane delivers. Western Canada's Sandy dealer, backed by the industry's toughest one. 3 years, 3,000 hours, no compromises. They service all crane makes and models with skilled technicians and deep industry expertise. Alberta owned with locations in Leduc and Grand Prairie and fully equipped service trucks. Northwest Crane keeps your operation lifting. For more information on sales or service, visit northwestcrane.com or call today.
I'm making my list, checking it twice. And guess what? I'm giving Wilhock beef jerky to everyone, naughty and nice. Because honestly, everyone deserves a taste of Alberta's finest, no matter if they've been bad or good. So this holiday season, skip the chocolates and pass on the turkey. Make sure you're Wilhocking around the Christmas tree with Alberta's best beef jerky. Ho, ho, ho!
Available at Wilhock Beef Jerky in Leduc.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth. Fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
He's a winner.
Sweet.
She's a winner too.
Right.
Everyone's a winner during Wish and Win at Wolf GMC
Wednesday.
Buick. Every single customer is guaranteed at least a $500 bonus with a chance to save up to $25,000 towards a new GMC or Buick. At Wolf GMC Buick, we also have 0% financing up to 84 months on most of our popular SUVs and trucks.
To the show, Rich.
Clearing
And
out remaining
Dale's in at
25,
1,000.
including
I
cash
think
discounts up to $10,000.
baseball chips. Well, he's actually
Selection
added
of
president's
Sierra
role.
HDs.
Middle of
90
that,
seconds
he was
east
the
of the
as
headlight.
the phrasing. Back, I think he's the only guy who doesn't see Stan
Where
Kasten
everyone
on the show.
wins.
At Papa John's, our butter chicken pizza is a Canadian favorite, and we think we know why. We start with a velvety, tangy, and subtly sweet sauce. Then it's our better ingredients: fresh, never frozen original dough, juicy grilled chicken, and crunchy green peppers and onions. Sounds delicious, right? Well, wait till you try it. It's butter chicken made better. Order your large butter chicken pizza today for only $19.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Proudly locally owned and operated.
234. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Rich Wynn. When
They told me, ba-da-ba-bum-bum.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by Play
Okay,
Alberta.
Dan, thanks a lot, buddy.
Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, that's a good song, buddy. I like it. Welcome back. What an awesome first hour. If you missed it, I highly recommend you can watch it later on. We're going to have that up on our YouTube channel again, of course, on our podcast, and where you get your podcast, Stan Kasten, the president and CEO of the LA Dodgers, talking about, and what a career, man. Like, that's what he is now. The guy was 27, and he became the GM of the Atlanta Hawks in 1979. And after a few years, he built that Hawks team into a legit contender. If MJ's not in Chicago, I'm guessing Atlanta probably makes a few finals appearances. They had 4 consecutive 50 win seasons, 7 consecutive years in the postseason. They were good, man. Like those, but they just couldn't beat the Bulls in the end. Well, also the Pistons. Pistons were damn, and the Lakers and the Celtics. Like, my God, there were some powerhouse teams back then. But I love what he told us. He goes, every press release they put out electrifying Dominique Wilkins. Not just Dominique Wilkins, they put in electrifying. So people, and honestly, there is power in subliminal messaging a little bit. Right? You just keep repeating it, and all of a sudden people kind of hear it, right? Some companies have, they have their little catchphrase, and it works. The jingle. So, welcome back to the Gregor Show, as always presented by PlayAlberta.ca. You can get the Jason Gregor Show odds boosts right there on the front page. Very easy. We're going Detroit over Utah, Carolina over Nashville tonight, each to win by 2. And then we got a little OKC Thunder because, come on, they lost their last game. They've only lost twice all year long. So rolling with OKC is never a bad get. Check it out at playalberta.ca. So we had Stan right off top, so we haven't talked a lot about the game last night. But the Edmonton Oilers, Leon Draisaitl, they didn't have to wait very long for him to get .1000 last night after missing out on an opportunity 2 nights ago in Montreal. But, Hyman scores on a power play from McDavid and Draisaitl, and then 12 seconds later, McDavid scores on a power play from Draisaitl and Bouchard. Brett Kulak's on the other team, but he kind of gets an assist with that unfortunate puck over glass that gave the Oilers basically a 2-minute 5-on-3. And they didn't really look back. They gave up a late goal in the first period, but then Manny Savoy scored again. Carlson before Bouchard, another power play goal. What about Vasily Podkolzin? How about Vasily Podkolzin? Did you know? Top 25 in goals 5-on-5 amongst NHL forwards. His 9 goals, that is legit top 6 production. That's 9 goals 5-on-5 for Vasily Podkolzin. Not a power play guy, right? Not bad in the stats there. It's been pretty good. And then McDavid scores into the empty netter. Only kind of negative, the Oilers gave up another goal late. So Tristan Jarry, if you're looking at save percentage, you're gonna be like, oh my God, he wasn't very good. Not really. Oilers got a little loose in the last few minutes of the last 2 games when they had big leads. So we will not last 2 games. I guess last 2 games for Jarry. There's only 2 games. But Draisaitl punches ticket. And I've written a lot of articles over the years at Oilers Nation. I put a lot of work into the article, and I really want to thank Leon's parents, Peter and Sandra, his sister Kim, who answered a lot of my questions for many Zoom calls, talking to Peter on WhatsApp as well, just getting some insight. And they shared some great pictures of a young Leon Draisaitl. Guess there's a picture of Leon. I want to say he's 5, maybe 6 in the photo. And you can see it at OilersNation.com. I put it up on my X and Facebook pages as well. Look at the blade. And when you see his blade, that's why I had it. And his dad, things I learned about Leon Draisaitl. Now, I highly recommend when you have time, go read the story. Go read the article today about how you go from shooting balls in parking lots on Sundays to becoming the greatest German player ever and one of the greatest NHL players ever. Draisaitl, 21st quickest to 1,000 points. He has the 7th most goals of those 21 players to get to 1,000 points. He's now at 1,003 points. And I firmly believe that he's going to join the 1,500 point club. This guy's going to be a top 20 scorer all time. Maybe top 15. And unlike a lot of Canadians who, like you're born, there's a hockey stick in your hand and you're playing and there's lots of competition. Wasn't necessarily the case. Leon, go read his comments from him, his dad, his mom, and Sandra when they talked about him leaving home at 13. So imagine for parents, your son or daughter sits you down at the kitchen table and says, you know what? I got to move. Like most kids couldn't even think about it. Now, you don't have to, because basically from him moving from Cologne to Mannheim in distance is equivalent of moving from Edmonton to Calgary. Mom and dad didn't move with him. He went on his own. This is what I'm talking about. When they put him on the train, she cried. Numerous times. Right? Because he would come home and visit, then he goes back. 13 years old. But she said, I never would have stood in his way. That's what he was passionate about. And you know what? It helped him. And if you want to learn more about Leon, kind of how he got there, you can read articles about, his stats and where he rates and all that stuff. And I've done a lot of those. That this is more about learning how Leon Draisaitl became the player that you see today. His parents, even Leon, I've talked to Leon lots. I can tell this is maybe the most relaxed he's been. Like we had lots of really good conversations about his time in Germany. And there is one thing in the article that I did not know. I never even heard about it. regarding Leon Draisaitl. Maybe his best skill off of the ice. So you can check out the article later today when you get home, or maybe during a commercial break here. So I recommend it at Oilers Nation's up at our Facebook page as well. It is a month of giving. We had a good first hour. So we got 2 packages today. Package number 1 is, and look at the weather outside. You just got to visualize this because it's going to be good. It's you're going to go fishing. Mike from Get Hooked Fishing Adventures. He is your guide. It's going to be 3 of you and Louis DeBrusque, who is a huge fisherman. And if you like hunting stories, oh my God, you're going to be in your element. And so you'll fish all day long on various spots all along the North Saskatchewan River. The day will be a day that's picked. Mike can recommend where he knows where the fish are biting more, right? Takes you to a lot of different spots. Usually August to October is when the clarity is at its best. Although I have heard that in May it's pretty good too. So you'll have some options. There are 26 different species of fish, but usually you're catching walleye, pike, goldeye, sturgeon. And, you'll stop for lunch. It's catered lunch provided with you. Mike has all that stuff. You can even learn how to gold pan along the banks of the North Saskatchewan River. So that is package number 1. And that is now up to $1,500, courtesy of Marta. So she's at $1,500 on package number 1. Package number 2, dinner for 12. 6 of you will dine with the Oilers TV broadcast team: Principe, DeBrusque, Jack Michaels, and their significant others, the better halves. So you and I can tell you, those ladies, you want to get the real dirt on Principe, DeBrusque, and Michaels, trust me, those ladies will be more than happy to share a little bit, okay? It's a 5-course meal at Vivo in their private room, if you like. It's unreal in the West End. All the wine pairings, as well as any beverages, cocktails, beer of your choice, sparkling water, if that's what you're into. Hey, I want to class it up a little bit. Want some sparkling water. Wilbur and the crew will take amazing care of you. Dessert, everything else. You'll have a lot of fun. So that's currently at $1,250 from AJ. So if you want in, package 1 is fishing. Package 2 is dinner for 12 at Vivo Ristorante. And package 1 is helping out Operation Friendship Senior Society, and we're going to help out Sports Central on the dinner package. So let's get those up a little bit. 833-401-1440. We had a really good month there. We only have a few days left of packages. Monday, we're going to do something we've never done before. Mystery Monday in the month of giving. I think you'll like it. So today and tomorrow, really kind of the last 2 packages we have. And then we have the Pyramid of Giving for Adopt a Teen on Friday. So if you've been thinking, hey, you know what, I want to get in, I want to help out, well, you don't have many packages left. So today and tomorrow for the big package kind of deals. So 833-401-1440. The Oiler game last night, kind of fitting. Connor Halley, I think it was, Captain Obvious. We said, hey, I think they're going to win that game. Like the Draisaitl was going to get his point. They made no mistake about it. The Oilers had that game in control, really, up until, the score looked closer at 6-4 than it really was. Some kind of late, meaningless goals for the Pittsburgh Penguins. You don't love it if you're the Oilers, because that happened against Toronto, 6-2. You give up a late one. It happened against Seattle, right? That's what started the long embrace. And we do have lots of texts. Hey, Greg, what do you think Stuart Skinner felt like when his former teammates are celebrating in a big group, literally 8 feet away from him after that initial goal? I don't know how he'd feel. I'm assuming it wasn't great, right? Like, it's hard because, it's not like your friendship just stops. Everybody saw the videos, long hugs after the game with Draisaitl and McDavid and Skinner and lots of other guys. Like him and Pickard are super close, right? Lots of other guys in that team are super close. Like, your friendship just doesn't end there. So yeah, it would be an awkward feeling, I think, at that moment. No question about it. But that's the harsh side of pro sports. Like, the game must go on. And, Stuart Skinner, thankfully, has his family with him in Pittsburgh, and Brett Kulak. But yeah, Cons, it was odd. I get, hey, of course I get the celebration. Zach Hyman, super excited. They come off the bench. totally worthwhile. But Skinner is almost like he stood his ground. He's like, I can't skate out of the crease at this moment. I just got to stand my ground.
Yeah, Tony Brar had that great video, and it was just him. Skinner like, all right, I'm just going to hang out here and clean up my crease, and this is going to be it. And like you said, I mean, a week ago, he probably would have thought, like, I can't wait to celebrate this accomplishment from Leon Draisaitl. I'll throw on this Smoke into 1,000 and a T-shirt after the game and celebrate with him. And now all of a sudden, it's going in against him, and he has to stand there and watch that celebration. But yeah, what do you do? I'm sure there was a bit of a message afterwards. I'm sure he reached out or maybe saw him in the hallways and congratulated him. But what can you do? The Edmonton Oilers got that one out of the way very quickly. I couldn't even get a 1,000-point post out before the Oilers scored once again. So yeah, it was a good performance, and I like that they bounced back. They give up the goal late in the first, and they get it back in the second, and then later on giving up a goal, and then they bounce back a few minutes later, like with the Bouchard goal. So I thought it was a really good performance by the Edmonton Oilers, knowing what they had to do. And again, that last minute goal against Tristan Jarry does not help the save percentage, pushes him below 900, but that's something they can try and clean up. They'll just be happy to get the wins, I would assume.
Oh yeah, no, wins are all that matters at the end of the day. Hey, Gregor, is every 1,000-point player in the Hockey Hall of Fame? No, they are not. There is Draisaitl is the 103rd player to make it to 1,000 points, but trust me, like Leon Draisaitl, he's got 4 50-goal seasons. He's also got 4 50-goal, 50-assist seasons, and there's only 9 guys in league history who've done that. So yeah, he is going to be a Hall of Famer. But no, I'm trying to think, like, who's got the most points who isn't in the Hall of Fame. Well, active players excluded, right? Crosby, Ovechkin, Malkin, sure. Patrick Kane. Who is the Anze Kopitar? I think he's going to get in. But like Jeremy Roenick just got put in, right? Bernie Nichols has 1,209. I think he has the most points. Who's not in the Hockey Hall of Fame, right? Of a player, Vincent Damphus isn't in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Rod Brind'Amour is not in the Hockey Hall of Fame. There's lots of other guys if we go down in the 1,000-point club who are retired who aren't in, and so it's not a Thane Fleury, Dave Taylor, Joe Pavelski, Keith Tkachuk, Ray Whitney. So there'll be other guys for sure. So it's not a guarantee. But when I look at like Draisaitl's at 1,003 points, he has 7 more years just on his existing contract. Let's say he just scores 80 points a year, averages for the next 7 years. That's another, like, the guy's over 1,500 points. Like Leon Draisaitl is going to end up, I believe, as a top 20 scorer all time in NHL history. And when you look at Oiler fans and you're like, so here's the group of players who have scored 1,500 points currently. Paul Coffey played for the Oilers. Right? Mark Messier played for the Oilers. Wayne Gretzky played for the Oilers. I think Connor McDavid's going to get to 1,500. You're going to have 5 guys who had 1,500 points who played significant time for the Edmonton Oilers. That's why the Oilers, of course, are the only franchise to date in NHL history to have 5 players with 1,000 points for the franchise. David Pastrnak needs about 120, and he'll get there. So he would be the 5th player for the Bruins. Like Brad Marchand would have been the 5th, but he got traded. And I know people are saying, hey, do you think Nugent Hopkins would? He could, but he has 3 years left after this deal. And there's no guarantee he would have another contract at that point. You never know. Him in Edmonton, we'll see. But it is it's remarkable the high-end skill that Oiler fans have had the pleasure of getting to see. So that is that's good. Hey guys, I know it might be a broken record on Nurse. Last night it seemed the Oilers had control most of the night except with Nurse and Regula. Every time they were on, it seemed to get him in their zone. Regula had an off game, but that seems to happen to everyone who gets paired with Nurse. When's Wallman back? Team Dean. If you look at that first goal, what does Nurse have to do with it? Nothing. Like, you can dislike Darnell Nurse, but you can't make ridiculous claims that because he's on the ice, that means Alex Regula. Like, I'm sorry, Alex Regula's puck management has been brutal. That first goal, the easy play was right there. Just put it up the boards. Know the time left in the period. It's not who your partner is, right? Hey, I agree. Nurse can play better, 100%. But yeah, Alex Regula, that is like when Wallman comes back, Regula might be the guy who comes out of the lineup, right? I wouldn't be shocked on that. So, we shall see. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Jack Michaels will join us next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
Boxing Week blowout starts early at the Brick. Find real Boxing Day prices early and beat the rush on the 26th. Score the best deals on electronics and appliances. Plus, save up to $1,000 off sectionals. Buy more, save more. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining. Up to 40% off mattresses. And up to $500 off big screen TVs. Don't wait for the crowds. Shop the Brick's Boxing Week early access event. Some exclusions apply. The Brick, saving you more.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
At Papa John's, our butter chicken pizza is a Canadian favorite, and we think we know why. We start with a velvety, tangy, and subtly sweet sauce. Then it's our better ingredients: fresh, never frozen original dough, juicy grilled chicken, and crunchy green peppers and onions. Sounds delicious, right? Well, wait till you try it. It's butter chicken made better. Order your large butter chicken pizza today for only $19.99. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Proudly locally owned and operated.
Picture this. You're sleeping and you're awake, but it's a good day because you're about to make your way to McDonald's to pick up some breakfast. Fast forward, you're there. This, you can now get all those breakfast classics penny style with rich, creamy hollandaise style sauce. A happy little tear rolls down your cheek. You grab your small McCafe premium roast coffee, still just $1 plus tax every day. And see, get up and at 'em with the Egg McMuffin. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Your New Year's Eve plans just got a major upgrade. On the Rocks is throwing the ultimate party to launch you into the new year with a bang. The legendary Tall Boy is hitting the stage live, providing the soundtrack for an unforgettable night. A 3-course dinner is available to kick things off before the main party starts. This is how you celebrate New Year's Eve. Dinner and a party tickets are available now. Book your spot online at ontherocksyeg.com.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater.
From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.325 on a wintry Wednesday afternoon. Give yourself a little bit of extra space on the road. Give yourself a little bit extra time because, as you know, the wind is blowing. The snow is blowing all over the place. Now, the snow is supposed to stop around 4 o'clock. So, I can just tell by shoveling. Had to shovel early in the morning, then I shovel again before I left. So it's pretty, now part of that is because maybe it's blowing, but it's also, there's been a fair amount of snow. I don't know if the 20 centimeters has come down that they predicted. I don't think it's been that much, but it is, it's a little snowy out there for sure. So good luck. Let's go in the room now, brought to you by Action Electrical, where you can take action on your savings. They got lots of divisions to help you, whether it's solar for both commercial and residential. They also have electrical preventative maintenance for commercial buildings and even EV chargers. ActionElectrical.net. And we are joined by the voice of the Edmonton Oilers, a gentleman that he's 1/3 of the group that you can be dining with at Vivo Ristorante in our package today. It's going to help out Sports Central. Jack Michaels joins us. Jack, how you doing, my man?
I'm good. I'm very impressed. I don't think I've ever heard you try to change your voice to affect some sort of accent before. I was pretty impressed with that. That was pretty seamless.
Well, it must have been an accent because I don't even know what accent I was going for there. But
yeah, I'm not sure either. But it was very good. Whatever you tried, I was impressed.
Well, hey, did you know that Leon Draisaitl? Because I wrote a long piece about him today. I interviewed his parents and teammates. Did you know that he's very good at impersonations?
Yes, I have heard that before. I have not been witness to them, but I have heard he is very good at impersonations, which would go right along with Leon in terms of that dry wit he's got.
Yes. You have had now a few 1,000-point calls here in recent memory. Last night didn't take long for the Draisaitl to get point 1,000. Ended up with point 1,003. McDavid gets 4 points. Do you plan like an 1,000-point call before the game?
No, I think you and I have maybe discussed this before. I'm not a big planner when it comes to calls. I think it's a little disingenuous. I mean, if people need that, that's good on them. I don't like to plan anything. And last night's a perfect example. It's a second assist. You got to make sure that it wasn't touched by another Oiler before it goes in. I'd rather be right and genuine than have a little script planned and then either stumble it. To be honest with you, Jason, if you give me a script, I'm probably more likely to stumble over it than if you just say, "Hey, give me 1,000 words on the Oilers' power play right now." I don't know whether it's a reading problem or whatever, but that's just the way I do things. I like to just have it flow, and whatever comes out, and I'm going to be able to live with it. I would never be able to live with something if I tried to plan or tried to get cute and then it didn't have the effect I was looking for. I mean, a perfect example would be, the reason I was stupid enough to lose my voice is a couple weeks ago is when Clattenburg scored.
Yes.
I wanted to give the guy some juice. It was his first ever NHL goal, and I was pumped for him. And I think that's an awesome story. Like I love seeing guys, especially deep in the draft, work their way up to the league. And I wanted to give him a little juice, and it was genuine. The problem was it was so genuine that I momentarily lost my voice for about 45 seconds. So, sometimes it doesn't work out. But again, I'd rather go down swinging and doing it the way you're supposed to, rather than come up with some sort of rehearsal.
Yeah, no, and that's totally valid. And I do remember the Clattenburg one. You were also fighting a cold, though, I think, at that point, weren't you?
Yeah, I was doing that game in an overcoat. I had 105 fever, so I don't think I was at the rink for the next couple days. But again, it's one of those things that when I missed my only game in my Oiler career, it was due to COVID, and I could have done 10 games in that condition as compared to the one where Clattenburg scored. But it's just the vagaries of, again, no one's going to feel sorry for you. I'm sure you've done 1,000 shows where you're not feeling all that great, but there's no substitutes. You got to show up and do it. Otherwise, you're going to be Wally Pip.
Yeah, it's very true. That is very true. Now, Jack, for the dinner with yourself, Gene, and Louie, and of course, your lovely wives. And I was telling our audience that the best part of that dinner is all three wives will have no problem answering any questions that the winners have about the three of you that you might shy away from. They would gladly jump in to answer.
No question about that. And I remember you digging a little bit on your 50th birthday party. I was stupid enough to leave you alone with Emily for a few minutes, and I instantly regretted it. It is.
Emily's a wealth of knowledge, Jack. A wealth of knowledge.
I know. She knows all the skeletons. But, Jason, you do a great job with these kind of things, and I appreciate you promoting it. It's one of the little things. I mean, the biggest problem about hockey, as you well know, and you're constantly, pounding the pavement to make it more affordable for kids. And that's the thing. That's the thing about hockey. Sometimes the sport inadvertently prices itself out of certain members of our community, and not just hockey, but some other sports too. So that's why, I'm really happy to do this for Sports Central and just a way to, make a pretty challenging sport sometimes cost-wise, a little bit more reachable.
Yeah, 100%. And the food's unreal at Vivo. Wilburn and staff, they're going to be great. You can have, what's the average length of a Louis DeBrusque hunting story?
Well, I mean, any Louis DeBrusque story, as you well know, if you're running 5 minutes late, you might as well just throw that appointment into the gutter. I mean, whether it's hunting or, Louis has never met a conversation he doesn't like. So the conversation will not be lacking in that regard. And then, of course, there's Gene, who, as inquisitive as you are, Jason, I still think he has you by about 10 questions per minute. I've never met a guy who can pump out rapid fire questions. And, honestly, both guys are great. And Gene is so eager to, learn about new people. And that's why he has this catalog that you and I never can touch in terms of, who's who and who's cousins with who and which sister did that. I mean, he's amazing when it comes to storytelling. So believe it or not, as garrulous and sometimes as much unwanted conversation as you get out of me sometimes, I'm really the quiet guy at this dinner. I'm almost the wallflower. So no, it's a lot of fun, and we'll tell lots of stories and have a great time. And you're right about the people at Vivo. We certainly won't get cheated there in terms of our calorie intake.
Yeah, well, no, that's very true. And I will
fabulous food. Fabulous.
I will tell you, Jack, speaking of 50th, I went to Gene's 50th. And the best part of somebody's 50th is you meet his buddies that he's had for years, because that's where you'll get the real stories. And my God, Brian Benning and all these guys. I was like leaning over the table laughing so hard as they were regaling me with stories of a young Gene Principe. So if you're ever in need of a few, you just got to reach out to Ben and his few, because they will gladly share any if you need them for fodder.
I was at that 50th as well, and as you recall, probably 3 hours into the night, I wasn't sure that Gene was going to see 51. So that was the revelation. Believe it or not, Gene does let the proverbial hair down, and he's, you know, as I deduced it, he wasn't always that sweet, wholesome guy we've come and known to love today. But no, he's a fabulous guy. Everyone who meets him obviously comes away for it with a better experience.
Jack Michaels joins us. Jack, Oilers, of course, into Boston now to take on the Bruins tomorrow night. And the Oilers have been on a pretty good run. They've had a few games they would like back. I don't think they love their defensive effort for sure against Montreal. But last night was another game that they really controlled against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And Vasily Podkolzin has 9 goals this season, 16 points, all at 5-on-5. And I looked it up. He is now top 25 5-on-5 goals amongst all NHL forwards in the league. Like, that's a legit top 6 5-on-5 productive winner. And this guy just I know you're at the rink more than I am. You see him in this. There's not a guy I think who puts in more work to try to improve his game than Podkolzin.
Yeah, and he has since the moment he arrived as an Oiler. And for a while there last year, I was kind of sitting there wondering what he was doing in the top 6. And Chris Knobloch pointed that out. He said, I've never seen a guy wanting to be a top 6 player more than Podkolzin does. The other thing, and Gene, Jason, you're better with these stats than I am. If you go to those advanced stats, his 5-on-5 relative to his teams is top 5 in the entire league.
Yeah.
He is a better player than, and we're kind of pumping his tires right now, but he's really doing a nice job at both ends of the ice. He's also the league's plus-minus leader among those who have 100 hits. As you know, he's easily the team's hits leader. And the offense is starting to come. As you point out, 5 goals in his last 7 games. And a guy that, the hardest thing for me, Jason, and I know you know this guy too, I just can't understand why he wasn't in Rick Tockett's plans. He seems to me like Rick Tockett's player because he's Jordan Martinook with, I think, a little more ability. So in any event, I agree with you. He's a comer. The other guy who's getting it going a little bit is Matt Savoy, who's got 4 goals in his last 7. And this bodes well. I've been asked a lot about the bottom 6, and yes, it's absolutely true. The bottom 6 is kind of dried up, especially over the last 10 to 15 games. Having said that, it's a little deceptive because when Roslovic and Kapanen come back, you're going to see Kapanen probably on the 3rd line. Savoy might end up on the 3rd line. I think they'll put Roslovic back with Leon Draisaitl. And so I think you're going to see some trickle-down numbers, bleed into at least the 3rd line. So I think there's help on the way in that regard. Having said all of that, Edmonton hasn't won 3 in a row all year, and there's a reason for that. And part of it is maybe thinking that they're there when they're not quite there yet, and they better tomorrow night in Boston because the Bruins have really impressed me. I thought, and maybe you disagree, but I thought last year was a long time coming for the Bruins, and I thought they might be in a 2 or 3 year period of darkness. Not a whole lot of offense, but they've gotten back to Bruin style. They've brought in some muscle. It all starts with Kaslik, that old functional toughness type of situation. They've got a lot of guys who can play and play hard. Morgan Geekie obviously is having an unreal year. Jeremy Swayman has settled in. Sometimes, you sign the big ticket and it takes a while. We certainly saw that with Bobrovsky. If the Oilers don't, bring their hard hats tomorrow, they're going to be in big trouble. This Boston club has really impressed me. They're playing for one another, and I think the sum of their parts is far greater than anything individually.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Boston and, we have the bottom 6, and I know that like last night because Savoy scored, but to me, that's a bottom 6 goal. Janmark's on the ice, Frederick's on the ice. Hudson was the one who made the zone entry and the nice play to get in. Then he switched and Savoy came on and scored. I'd still kind of put that in on bottom 6 goal. But Trent Frederick's one of those guys that maybe a jolt back in Boston, dinner with some teammates or something will get him going because they need him to get going.
I agree. I mean, I thought that was the right move before the Oilers made the move. And in fact, I remember talking about Trent Frederick in a couple of different conversations. Who knows? You might have even been part of one of them. And this is when the Oilers were in their, 30-game lull at the beginning of last season. You were talking about, all right, what do the Oilers need to do to get going? This was coming off the first Stanley Cup final. And, again, I thought Frederick was exactly the right piece. It has taken him a long time to get any kind of traction. I think his last 3 or 4 games are better, but that's not I don't think that's the standard that you thought of when you brought him in. And I think you thought that there was going to be, pretty consistent production every other game out of Trent Frederick. His numbers would have suggested that. So I agree with you. That's a key guy that ultimately they're going to need to get going. And I don't know what's going to spark it. I thought maybe the fight would. There've been different games where I thought he had it going on a little bit. Same goes for Andrew Mangiapane, quite frankly. Mangiapane, I thought was a guy who showed up in Montreal. I liked the fact that he was in scrums. He's got to get back to, having a little bite in his game and being an irritant and being a pest, kind of like a Mikey Asamont, a guy that no one likes playing against because he's just such a pest out there. The Oilers have some guys with more bite in their game than they've showed. So I agree. And that could potentially help trigger the bottom 6 because Mangiapane's not a guy I'm willing to completely write off yet. I feel like if he gets involved and he gets going a little bit, that could also give the bottom 6 some secondary options.
Jack, I really appreciate your time, my man. Enjoy Boston. Enjoyed taking care of Gene and Louie and Stoff. I know I saw you guys at the Steeler game. What are you guys doing on your off night tonight? Taking any of the Celtics playing? I didn't even look.
Yeah, there's not a lot of NBA fans in this crowd, Jason. I would be going solo if I was going to a Celtics game. But we're in the process of rounding everyone up. We had a great time at the Steelers game. I don't think I've ever seen Bob that happy. If you study that photo closely, Jason.
Yes, I saw him smiling.
You might have seen his first smile since maybe his 5th birthday party.
Or when he got a new shipment of Red Bull. That sometimes will do it, right?
Yes, that's all. Get him going. As you can tell, we're in the Northeast. That damn bear has gotten to me. I apologize.
Hey, no problem. Jack, thanks for this, and thanks for stepping up. Have a great dinner with Gene and Louie, and our winners. We're up to, I think, $1,400 now, so it'll be rolling. We're not even halfway done, so thanks so much.
Oh, that's fantastic news to hear, Jason, and thanks for having me on.
That is Jack Michaels, the voice of your Edmonton Oilers on Rogers Sportsnet. And yes, we are up to $1,400 now on the dinner package. We'll tell you all about the month of giving when we return. Hear more on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We got a special guest a little bit earlier. Next.
As 2025 comes to a close, GS Construction would like to take the time and thank our crews, our partners, and our communities for another successful year of teamwork and growth. Together, we've helped keep Edmonton and the surrounding area moving by building and maintaining the underground infrastructure that keeps everything running smoothly. It's been another year of dedication, pride, and hard work the team has put in to make it all possible. To learn more about our people and our projects, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Oodle Noodle origin. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Oodle Noodle.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. December is here. Christmas shopping, Christmas wrapping, Christmas baking, grocery shopping. What about our vehicle? Does it need tires? It's not running? No problem. We got you covered. At Northgate GM, we have a tremendous selection of newer used vehicles, winter tires at cost, and of course, service with a smile. Come in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Vinny and Don in Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you know a student athlete interested in growing as a person and a player, register for a free shadow day. Beginner or experienced, this program develops a student athlete skill in a supportive environment. It's a great opportunity for prospective student athletes entering grades 3 through 12 to see what Vimy and Donnan have to offer. Visit vimyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.epsb.ca for more info and to sign.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Get the Gregor special. Enjoy 20% off any regular menu price order when you use promo code Gregor at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
.47, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. As always, presented by playalberta.ca. Of course, Wednesday, Lotto 649, $40 million. The OG of lotteries. Get your tickets, playalberta.ca. As it's time for us to go a little racing to speed. I'm actually because there's lots of the thing I'm excited about today is because we will talk racing, but we're going to talk about something a little bit something that even if you're not a racing aficionado, it's probably something that you watched. So we get to the racing report, brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com. Colin Livingston joins us in studio, and of course, a big racing guy. And I was chuckling because he goes, "Hey, I finally got to watch the F1 movie. Can we talk about it?" So, and I was like, "Oh my God, the racing guy is going to tell me all the things that weren't realistic of the movie." Am I right?
Kind of taking the wind out of my sails here, Greg.
No, but I get it because there were a few things, even when I'm watching, because I've learned a lot from racing with you for the last few years, and I'm watching like the one I'm like, the car's never doing that. There's no chance that guy's stopping. Like there were certain things where I'm like, okay, I get it's drama, but I'm always kind of like there were parts that were actually quite well done. I thought
the movie was shot extremely well, like it, and they didn't do the typical motorsport movie nonsense of like, okay, well, I'm going here, I'm following this guy, and as long as I downshift, I've got all this extra power I've been saving, and I'm just going to drive around him. And like, why didn't you just do that beforehand? Like, they didn't really have any of that. I have to say that a lot of my disappointment is my own fault, because knowing that, Sir Lewis Hamilton, Toto Wolff, and a bunch of the F1 people were directly involved with the production of the movie, I expected that a lot of the, I guess to be nice, I'll say the idiosyncrasies wouldn't have happened. Like, I don't want to ruin the movie. I mean, I think most people have had a chance to watch it by now, but drivers don't get within 3 corners of pit entry, spontaneously key the radio and say, okay, I'm coming in for tires now. And the team goes, oh, okay. And, and there's no time lost and all the rest. Or, you put a particular set of tires on the car and the driver sits there because they said they wanted the other compound tire, and they wait like 20 seconds for the team to go get the other set of tires. There's just a bunch of that, kind of made it more dramatic, but it really kind of it soured it a bit. But at the same time, there's a scene where a car goes crazy off the track. It's launched into the air, and when we're watching it, Manda says, "Oh, that's so unrealistic." I said, "Actually, that happened." Like it was an F2 race. It was at Monza a bunch of years ago where a car got pushed. We even talked about it on the show. A car got pushed wide, hit one of these stupid sausage curbs, launched up into the air and went into the catch fence. They made it look a little bit more spectacular for the movie, but at that corner the exact same thing happened. So even though it might be sensationalized, there was some truth to it. They did a crazy good job with their CGI though. Like, some of the incidents where cars were crashing in the movie was actual F1 footage.
Yes.
But instead of it being the Alpine cars that made contact, they computer, edited everything to make it look like the A1 GP cars. That part of it was exceptional. And the driver's perspective, the way it was shot was just top shelf. But if you're going into it, expecting to kind of watch another movie like Rush, where it was really based more in reality, you're probably going to walk away a little bit disappointed.
But the shooting of it, if you want to get in, I thought that part
10 out of 10.
Was excellent. Now, the season's over in F1. It's the off season, just like in every other sport. There's always going to be some changes. Red Bull. Helmut Marko is leaving Red Bull.
So long, Skeletor.
Yeah. Christian Horner was removed. Marko took it to make driver signings without the approval of ownership, which seems like kind of stupid. Like that just, I guess you're in a position where maybe some people at times feel like they're invincible and they're like, well, I'm just going to sign guys. But I'm also like, how could ownership not know that you're signing? Like, there's got to be something that's lost in translation there.
So what actually happened is Alex Dunn, who was in the McLaren driver training program, driving an F2, got called up, did some of the FP1 practice sessions. Marko targeted him, really wanted him as part of the team, made him an offer, convinced him to break his McLaren contract, but he signs him personally and then submitted the paperwork to Red Bull by mail. So it was like 2 weeks after they had actually signed him. They started hearing things in the press, and then they get the paperwork because Marko kind of, slow played the paperwork. I think they, between Marko and Horner, they had a really, really, really good working relationship that was kind of dysfunctional, kind of like, the Rolling Stones with Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. They can't stand each other, but they make great music. And I think Horner and Marko kind of had that same combination. But now that, Horner was removed, Marko can't stop talking about how, he's basically hanging all of Red Bull's woes and all the issues back on Horner. Sergio Perez, now that he's kind of back in the sport, he's doing the same thing, talking about how the team is really set up for Max. Nobody will ever succeed as the second driver as long as Max is there. There's a lot of, it's not really infighting anymore, but now the skeletons are getting chucked into the public.
It is. I don't like, although at times like F1 just seems to like a little bit of the drama. And I do think that's a little bit more of a European thing. Like they're just like, hey, we'll air our dirty laundry publicly. Right. And that's just kind of like, if it doesn't happen, people are like, well, what's going on? It's almost like it's kind of the norm.
Yeah, Marco's never been shy to open his mouth. Like, you know, he got the team into a lot of trouble over the years, you know, saying, like, even right now, he's saying that Horner was lying about everything. He even attested, he made a comment, it was probably 2 years ago, saying that Mexicans and Latin people are generally lazy. It was
I remember that.
It was a live broadcast.
Yes.
There's a recording
Talking
of him
about
saying
Perez,
that.
right?
In general, yeah. He's Marco is now coming back saying, well, Horner made that up. That never happened. Like, we saw it. Like, this actually happened.
You said it. It's on record.
You know, a lot of this is really this Marco. You know, he did really, really well, obviously, in recruiting and developing Max Verstappen. But if you take a look at the rest of his hires, and so many of these poor kids that, you know, they get their shot in Formula One with, you know, Racing Bulls or VCARB or whatever the hell we call that second team. The second they got moved up as, you know, the next greatest thing in the world to, you know, nobody's really been able to run beside Verstappen except Daniel Ricciardo. Like, there really hasn't been a legitimate second driver since then. You know, they've really sent these drivers to slaughter. But one thing you've never heard Helmut Marko admit is a mistake. He's always good at telling you where everybody else is wrong and where somebody else has made a mistake. So candidly, I'm not going to miss the guy. I think he was, you know, he had his style, but this is like,
so who's replacing him?
They haven't really said. They've nominated somebody to kind of handle the junior program, but I think as far as the F1 side of things, they're not really going to have a.
They're not going to replace
a
him,
special advisor. They're
Okay.
you know, the way that Laurent Mekies, who moved up from the junior team and kind of came last from Ferrari, he seems to really nurture people. He really seems to let people do their jobs. He doesn't look over their shoulder. He doesn't micromanage. So to have, you know, his, you know, Lauren Mekies kind of being more of an empowering team principal, where you've got kind of the undermining guy. You know, I've heard lots of stories of these drivers saying, like, you never want to get the phone call from Helmut at 6 a.m. And he'd do that. Like, you know, a driver would run a race, fly back home, only be in bed for like 30 minutes. And he expects that you're going to pick up the phone every time he calls. So they're like, when you get that phone call at 6 a.m., you know, it's not going to be a good day. I don't think a lot of the drivers are really going to miss him.
No, probably not. Colin, have yourself, we won't, because I know we're off, of course, the next two Thursdays due to Christmas and New Year's Day. And then you're out of the country, so we'll have 3 weeks, and then there'll be lots of racing news to catch up in then. So have a great holiday, great Christmas.
Yeah, same to you and Tracy and Beckett.
Awesome. Let's get to the, that was the racing report brought to you by Can Torque. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Man, if you don't have your winter tires today, you should get them. They'll take care of your vehicle and your vehicle only. You're focused to enjoy winter driving worry-free. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
5 games on the schedule tonight in the NHL, getting going at 5 out in Florida. Panthers and Kings, followed by the Mammoth Red Wings. Blues host the Jets, Hurricanes in Nashville, and the Golden Knights taking on the Devils. In the association, 2 games, both at 6, Bulls, Cavs, and Grizz taking on the Timberwolves. In the AJ, you got Fort Mac and Canmore. Olds hosting Grand Prairie at 7, PWHL. Toronto hosting Montreal just after 4:30. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll ask 5 questions. We'll hear Camp Tate's 2-minute warning and take a look around the NHL with Dave McCartney from SiriusXM NHL. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Now for today's holiday special, Legacy Heating and Cooling saves Christmas. Santa's furnace broke down in the shop last night, and the elves couldn't make any toys, that's right, so Santa called up his pals at Legacy Heating. And ho, 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 golly gee, 1 year, no payments, interest-free, and the elves are working merrily with a brand new furnace from Legacy. Happy holidays from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Oh, hold up. Are you pulling my beard? Booster Juice has 2 new booster balls for the holidays this year.
That's right, Santa. The Eggnog Booster Ball and Caramel Pecan Pie Booster Ball are 2 new flavors to put some extra jingle in your step. So are you a pie guy, Santa, or a nog guy?
Both!
Good call. That's extra jolly. Happy holidays from your friends at Booster Juice. Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
After 20 years, Canada's most prestigious international hockey tournament returns. The Camrose Viking Cup, December 28th to January 4th at Encana Arena. Tickets at vikingcup.ca. Brought to you by Sports 1440.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Think your credit's not good enough for a new ride? Think again. Go Auto's car loan calculator is here to help. No commitments, no credit hits, just real answers. You tell us a few things, and we'll show you what you can afford. Text credit to 780-777-7777. That's credit to 780 all sevens. Go Auto. We do the math, so you can do the driving.
Ring in the new year with a Canadian country legend. December 31st, in concert at the Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Brett Kissel. She drives me crazy. With special guests Haley Benedict and Morgan Clyburn. Bring your friends, your cowboy boots, and your party spirit for a night full of hit, celebration, and unforgettable memory. Hosted by Chris Sheets. The countdown to 2026 starts with Brett Kissel live on stage. Get your tickets now at silenticecenter.com/events.
I'm Saxon, and this is my little sister Goldie. I'm Goldie, and this is my little sister Saxon. Wait a minute. I'm the big sister around here.
And I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV. These are my granddaughters. They like to help with the holiday commercials. It's sort of a tradition in our family. And since they moved from Australia to Nashville, we get to see them more than ever.
It's nice to live in the same hemisphere with Grandma and Papa.
That's right, Saxon. And at No Bull, the holidays are all about family. And really, that's what camping is all about, too.
Maybe I should come work for you at your store, Papa. I can make the Goldie cakes.
Maybe in a few years.
Papa says used RVs are way better than new RVs.
That's right, Saxon. You learn quickly. So what do you have to say to all the people listening on the radio?
Happy Christmas to everyone in Canada.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle,
Throw the load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock on a wintry Wednesday afternoon. Drive safe, boys and girls. Take a little extra time. It is slick. I know we got a lot of texts coming in. Lots of cars in the ditch on some secondary roads coming in from Legal to St. Albert. We've had a few mention on 625 out by Beaumont. So, cars in the ditch. if you have the ability to tow someone out, definitely help out, but definitely be cautious because the roads are getting slick, especially in areas where there's not a lot of trees. And so, man, the snow and the wind can create a little bit of havoc. So good news. That just means maybe a little bit more time for you to spend with us on a Wednesday afternoon. So, and we got a few packages for you as a month of giving continues here today on the show. And we will have package number 1. Pretty good day for this because of how cold it is outside. This will get you in the mindset of thinking about warmth, relaxing. You're going to have a fishing trip hosted by Mike from Get Hooked Fishing Adventures. He'll be your guide. It's going to be 3 of you and Louis DeBrusque, who, man, like, you think that guy likes hockey? Nothing compared to fishing and hunting. Loves it. So absolutely loves it. So you're going to have a great fishing day all day. Many spots across the river with catered lunch. Now, the river fishes best in August to October, but you can go in May too if you like. You could go in July, but Mike, with all experience, just feels you'll have better success going in that time. You're primarily going to catch walleye, pike, goldeye, and sturgeon. There are 26 different species of fish in the North Saskatchewan. They'll also stop at one of the show you how you can gold panel on the banks of the North Saskatchewan. Who knows? Maybe you'll strike gold. Worth a little bit right now. You never know. Never know, man. Think about it. Back in the days of early days of Alberta, who wasn't loving it? The gold pan handling. Fantastic. So Marta just came in at $17.50 on the fishing package. Thank you, Marta. And we are up to $1,500 on package number 2. Right now, this is a steal of a deal. It's a dinner for 12 of you at Vivo Restaurante. It'll be your group of 6, and you're going to dine with Gene Principe, Louis DeBrusque, Jack Michaels, and their lovely wives. Share some stories. You'll get lots of good stuff, man. I tell you, get Gino in some of that wine. Ooh, mama. All right. You'll hear some great tales. Same with Louis and Jack. They got lots of fun stories, those 3 together. It's a 5-course meal. It's unbelievable food. The great part is, you know what? They pick their best favorite appetizers. Sometimes they make some special ones just for these dinners. Then you get to pick your entrees that you like. There's salads. You're going to have unreal dessert. The pasta is amazing. Trust me. If you don't have the fettuccine, you're not living. You are not living. So that's going to be package number 2. Obviously, we'll pick a date that works for you. So money goes to Sports Central from the dinner, and money goes to Operation Friendship Senior Society for the fishing. So Marta's at $1,750, and we're up to $1,500 on the dinner package. So $1,700 now. Okay.
Paulie came in.
All right, here we go. Now we're rocking and rolling. Okay, 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Good news, con man. It looks like it's sunny on the south side of Edmonton. The snow has stopped. So they said it was going to stop at 4:00. So that's good. And we'll see. But the fact that it's stopped snowing, that's a good sign. So that'll make visibility a lot better for people. Now, coming up, later on this hour, we have we're going to talk some hockey. We're going to talk a little football with later on. We got Dave McCarthy. We got Speck from Pittsburgh, DVD as well. We'll get to the 2-minute warning. Get to some of the post comments. Most of you, I think, saw it last night. Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid. I think it seems a lot of the texts kind of like this. Guys, you know what? At times Skinner would frustrate me, but man, I have to admit, I felt for him last night when he sees all his former teammates celebrating, and the fact that he went from a 2-time Stanley Cup finalist to a team that isn't close to the playoffs. Pittsburgh does not look good. Yeah. Hey, the Pens, that's what I've said, man. Like, I can understand, like Sidney Crosby, you know what? He needs 2 points to break Marilyn Lemieux's franchise record. And I understand that you've been there the whole time, but don't you want to win? Don't you want to at least have a chance to win? I wonder. And like, if you're Sidney Crosby, if you're even remotely considering, you know what, maybe I want to get traded, this is the year to do it. Don't wait till next year, because if you do it this season, the team that acquires him gets 2 playoff runs, maybe more. Because the way Crosby's playing, he could definitely play more than one more season. Right? And so you can say the franchise, you know what? It was an amazing thing, but I move now. At least I'm giving the franchise probably another first rounder, maybe another good prospect opportunity. Now, maybe Crosby says, you know what? I think my experience, I can help the young guys, Kindle and others, learn how to be a professional. So there is some value in that. I can't argue that. There is some value in it, but I just wonder if the losing for him, he hasn't won a playoff series since what, 2018, 17? I don't see them making the playoffs this season. Like, I watched that team last night. Now, I know they got some injuries, right? Not having Malkin definitely hurts them. There's no doubt in my mind, but the Penguins are slowly, starting to, they're 3 points behind everyone in their division. The Devils are tied with them. The Panthers are starting to roll here. They have won, I think 5 of their last 7 or something like that. Now, the Rangers can't win at home. It's unbelievable. They got 4 wins in 17 home games. But then they have 12 wins in 18 road games. It's wild. I don't get it. But I look at the Penguins, and I thought they would be a bottom 2 or 3 team in the East, and I still believe that's where they'll end up. And that's what they should end up. They just don't have enough talent. They don't. Like, a lot of older guys who are, future Hall of Famers in Crosby and Malkin, probably Carlson. Letang, maybe. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer, but really good player. And they don't have enough after that. Not even close. So we'll see where they go from here. Gregor, what about the one team legacy? Do you think that matters to Crosby? Maybe. But I look at, does anyone really care? Do they look different at Steve Yzerman, Mario Lemieux, Joe Sakic than they do Mark Messier, Wayne Gretzky, Gordie Howe? Do you look at them different because they didn't play with one organization? I don't know. I don't. I'm he was a great player. He played for a few different teams. That's kind of how I see it. So I don't have much of an issue with it, to be honest. So
wouldn't you rather be the guy who played in meaningful games down the stretch in his career versus the guy who played for one team and didn't have a sniff at the playoffs for the end of his career?
Yeah.
Messier left. He won a cup in New York. To me, that only added to his legacy. He could have hung around Edmonton, sure, but he went and did that. Now, Vancouver, yeah, that was a blip on the radar. But
you're not going to have success everywhere, for
exactly.
Sure.
You can't just carry every franchise. But, I'm with you. I don't think about the greats and think, well, they only played for one team. That's what really separates them. Maybe person to person.
We got this question. Hey, Greg's, what about the story of the Penguins sale? Does Lemieux still own a part of that team? How would this affect Crosby staying? If it was loyalty in part to Mario, the new owner's big rebuild coming from Darren. Well, my understanding, Darren, is that Mario Lemieux will retain his minority share through this transaction, right? Fenway Sports has sold the Penguins to the Hoffman family out of Chicago, right? It's an investment group. And Lemieux is going to retain his minority share. And there's a chance, if he wants, that he might be open to even having a bigger presence under the new ownership. We'll see. So I don't think, Crosby's future is going to be negatively impacted by this sale at all. Might be strengthened because Lemieux might have even a bigger presence under that. So we'll see. Let's get to the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where there's no overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca.
We hear it all the time in the junior hockey circle, especially there. The cycle of a franchise. And understandably so. Junior hockey is a precious bridge from minor hockey to the bright lights, big arenas, and bigger dreams of the NHL. So when a core group of players gels together at, say, age 16, they grow up together, they lose together, they win together, and they stay together until that final 20-year-old season. Rinse and repeat. But here's the question. Is this reality just and exclusively for junior hockey? Or for that matter, any junior sports team? I say no. I remember after one Edmonton Oilers Stanley Cup win, general manager and coach Glenn Sather said something that stuck with me. The next year's team, he said, would be different by about 15%. Not because they wanted it to be, but because it had to be. Times change. Bodies change. The league adjusts. Opponents catch up. And in sport, the wear and tear is undefeated. Which brings us to today's 2-minute warning poll. It concerned the Kansas City Chiefs, a dynasty, some said, who last year made their third, yes, third, Gregor, straight Super Bowl appearance. This year, they ain't going to make the playoffs. So we asked, are you surprised Andy Reid and company aren't in the postseason? The results are in. 25% said yes, they're surprised. The other 75% said no. No shock, no gasps, no dynasty lasts forever. Only in junior hockey, you say? I don't think so. The cycle is universal. The clock is always ticking, and eventually, every team hears the warning. Watch for another poll tomorrow. This has been the 2-minute warning. Gregor, Haley, Kruger, Tater, Sports 1440.
Nice. Tater, he's loving his polls right now. Fantastic. Get to the polls, as Tater would say. Excellent. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Dave McCarthy will join us. We've got some more bids coming in the month of giving. We'll get to that and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Your New Year's Eve plans just got a major upgrade. On the Rocks is throwing the ultimate party to launch you into the new year with a bang. The legendary Tall Boy is hitting the stage live, providing the soundtrack for an unforgettable night. A 3-course dinner is available to kick things off before the main party starts. This is how you celebrate New Year's Eve. Dinner and a party tickets are available now. Book your spot online at ontherocksyeg.com.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Boxing Week blowout starts early at the Brick. Find real Boxing Day prices early and beat the rush on the 26th. Score the best deals on electronics and appliances, plus save up to $1,000 off sectionals. Buy more, save more. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining, and up to 40% off mattresses, and $500 off big screen TVs. Don't wait for the crowds. Shop the Brick's Boxing Week early access event. Some exclusions apply. The Brick, saving you more.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Vinny and Don in Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you know a student athlete interested in growing as a person and a player, register for a free shadow day. Beginner or experienced, this program develops a student athlete skill in a supportive environment. It's a great opportunity for prospective student athletes entering grades 3 through 12 to see what Vinny and Donnan have to offer. Visit vinnyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.epsb.ca for more info and to sign up.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
And what can I get for you this year, little fella? I want a new Ford F-150 with the FX4 package.
Adults need toys to play with on Christmas morning, too. And Nisku Ford has the best toys in town. If you decide to wrap one up, you can get rebates as high as $10,000 or choose interest rates as low as 0%.
This Christmas, get the toy you really want.
Your holiday visits or NiskuFord.ca today. Above expectations.
It's a time for caring, sharing, and time giving. OPT Inc. asks you to look upon this festive season as an opportunity to help others. It is the best gift of the year. Wishing you a truly Merry Christmas from Rod, Roger, Tina, and Bernie Masson.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips. We fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Our month of giving package is pretty much neck and neck right now, and hopefully we get them up, raise a little bit more for charity. We have package number 1, courtesy at $17.50 from Mart. It's our Get Hooked Fishing Adventure. 3 of you will go fishing with Louis DeBrusque, and you'll have Mike from Get Hooked as your guide, take you all across the river. You get catered lunch. You're going to be doing some how to gold pan along the banks of the North Saskatchewan. You're going to catch walleye, pike, goldeye, and sturgeon most likely. Or there are up to 26 different types of fish, but those are mainly the ones you'll likely catch. You can do it. You arrange it with Mike in a time that works for all of you. So it's a date. Obviously, in the summer, we're not going ice fishing. And away you go. And that's to help out Operation Friendship Senior Society. You're going to have a great day. If you love fishing and stories, and I can tell, man, Louis loves his fishing, man. Fishing, hunting, hockey might be in that order of his true loves. So, well, except his wife, of course. So there you go. Marta has that at $17.50. Package number 2. We got to get this one up a little bit. We're not in retail value, so let's get it rolling here. It's dinner for 12 at Vivo Ristorante with Principe, DeBrusque, Jack Michaels, and their wives, and 6 of you. You're going to get a 5-course meal, all the wine pairings, all the cocktails, beer, everything of your choice. Pick a date that works for your group as well as Principe's group. You're going to have it at Vivo in the West End. If you want in the private room, away you go. Now, I can't guarantee, but I can't deny that maybe you'll have your own Gene Principe dinner intro queued up for that. And currently, Paulie has that as Steel at $1,700. So let's get that rock and roll. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We're helping out Sports Central with that dinner. Now, let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Silent Ice Center, where, hey, you know what? The Summit Restaurant's there. It's an unbelievable place. But did you know, New Year's Eve, because I know many of you are like, what are we doing on New Year's Eve? I don't know. Well, guess what? Buddy Brett Kissel's got the new show at the new Silent Ice Center on New Year's Eve. The one thing I guarantee you, good music, will have lots of laughs, and he'll be wearing a cowboy hat. I wonder how much we'd have to pay Kiss to do a show without a cowboy hat. Like, I wonder if he's ever done a show without a cowboy hat. We might have to ask him, Cons. I'd be curious. Anyone ever seen, like, maybe, a young Brett Kissel? Did he do a show without a cowboy hat on? I don't know. Like, I can see why I wouldn't. I totally understand it, but just wonder. Would he? Like, he's probably done a song, maybe. Right? Get excited, throw the hat off, keep it off for a bit. I don't know.
You Google image search him, and every single picture, black cowboy hat.
He's got a black cowboy hat. Right? Like, never changed it up. Like, is he like Ray Donovan of hats? Like, does he just have, like, you know how Ray had all the black suits? And you go in his closet, white shirt, black suit. Like, is that Kiss? I wonder how many black. We might have to get him on. Now I'm curious. I want to know how many black cowboy hats does he have?
It's one less thing to think about every day.
Yeah, it's true. Well, actually, they did a study, Cons, where somebody bought the same. They had the exact same, like Ray Donovan, and how your life was easier. Because sometimes, how many of you will stand in front of your closet or your dresser and be like, "What am I wearing?" And they say it just simplifies things. Less is more for us. We don't need to make that many decisions. Because I know you guys, how many of you have your, like, you probably have 20 shirts in your closet. You're only wearing 6 of them. You just rotate. I'm with you. I do it too. I got a drawer of t-shirts. I'm like, I don't even know what's at the bottom. I never really get there. I like my 5 rotation ones. Right? Because everybody has Golden Boy. You have your Golden Boy t-shirt, right? Our next guest, I guarantee you, he's got a few Golden Boys, probably a Golden Boy hat, maybe a Golden Boy suit, maybe even a shirt. Dave A. McCarthy from SiriusXM joins us every week here on the show. Davey, how you doing? Do you have a Golden Boy hat? Do you have a Golden Boy t-shirt? You know, like your fave that just
Oh man, like honestly, you're right when it comes to the t-shirts, because I do have a couple of drawers that probably have, I would say, 8 t-shirts times 2 rows times 2 drawers.
Yeah.
So like we're looking at 32 t-shirts there. I might wear 5. And every now and again I get into the drawers and I'm like, yeah, I should cull some of this, right? And then I get down, I'm like, that's a nice t-shirt. I can't throw that out. And so it goes back in the drawer, and then I maybe wear it once and it goes back deep, and then I never wear it again. I should cull, but I just can't bring myself to, because this is quality material. But there are a few that just look better than the others. Now, when it comes to suits and dress shirts, I will say that I do my best to get through the rotation as best as I can. I wore an ascot last night because it was an original 6 night.
Ooh,
so
nice.
Yeah, we've limited the ascots to original 6 nights. But suit wise, I don't have an issue. T-shirt wise, you're right. Like you only need 5, really. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Nice.
By the way, Gene Principe, $1,700 for an intro. I love it. Like, I feel like I owe you some money. I saw Gene on Saturday, and I didn't know his time was quite that valuable, but it should be, because he is a presence. We love Gene.
Oh yeah, no, it's good. Leon Draisaitl became the 21st fastest player to 1,000 points last night. Has 1,003, and I did a real deep dive. Wrote an article, got some great insight from his family, just because, lots of Canadian superstars. We've never had a German superstar in the history of the NHL before Draisaitl. Like, he was the first German player to 500 points, never mind 1,000. And he's on pace to be in the top 20 all time, right? Like, he's a surefire Hall of Famer already. When you look at how many 50-goal seasons, he's won the Rocket, he's won the Hart, he's won the Art Ross. Like, he's had an unbelievable career. He's one of the few guys in the NHL that on some nights can be deemed the best player in the world, with McKinnon or McDavid, right? Draisaitl's that good. What do you make of his? Because, like, he didn't have outdoor rinks. There's no outdoor rinks in Cologne. He had to move away from home, Dave, at 13 to go from Cologne to Mannheim, which is about a 3-hour drive away. And, so I was doing the math. That's like 2008.
Yeah.
And in 2008, it wasn't like his parents moved with him. And it wasn't like in North America where you have billets. The team puts up and the kids lived in their place together. It's kind of wild. It's just a different lifestyle.
Yeah, that I was actually in the midst of reading that piece before I jumped on with you here, so I'm not quite finished yet, but I can assure everyone it's worth your time. It's an outstanding piece, and I was learning a lot. Like, where do I put him amongst the greatest players of all time? Like, he's got to be up there. Like, could he get into the top 10 before it's all said and done? Maybe. I mean, he's the type of guy that puts up 3-4 points a night for fun. Like, I opened the Oilers box score last night, and it's like, up 4 assists for fun. The Saturday night against the Leafs, what do you have? 3 assists for fun. Like, no big deal. So the guy's going to put up massive numbers. He's still so young, really. Like, he's got 10 years left easily. What I think would really help is if he puts a Stanley Cup beside his name. No fault of his. I mean, he's done his part without question in the playoffs. And, you and I have talked about this in the past. It's difficult to hold against players of his caliber, whether you win or not, because hockey is not a sport like basketball where, if you're LeBron James in his prime, you dump the ball down to LeBron, he scores, he gets 35 points a night, and he can pretty much drag his team to an NBA final every year. And he did. Like, it was LeBron and Steph for how many years in a row back in their primes. Hockey's not like that. So it's difficult to hold that against players of Draisaitl's caliber. But at the end of the day, I think to an extent it is, rightly or wrongly. Now, if he can put a Stanley Cup beside his name, again, he comes from Germany. Is he going to get Olympic gold medals? Probably not, right? Just by virtue of his passport, he's probably not going to win Olympic gold medals. But that shouldn't diminish his greatness, because he is really as good a player as there is in the game. You look at his playoff numbers, they do get better.
Oh, yeah.
Than they are during the regular year, and they are already great during the regular year. So there's something to be said for that. He does his part in the postseason. And so I think by the time it's said and done, he's going to have massive numbers. He's a Hall of Famer today if he doesn't play another game. I think he has the chance to get up into the top 10, 15 who have ever played the game, because he really is just that dominant. The interesting question is, and I think a lot of people compare him to Evgeny Malkin in Pittsburgh, to Sidney Crosby. If he did not play with Connor McDavid, how good would he be? That's an interesting question. And I'm not saying it in a negative light. I still think he'd be great. Does he benefit with playing with Connor? Sure he does, of course. Not his fault that he got drafted. It helps. But I think when we've seen Connor out of the lineup for periods of time, Draisaitl's game has shown itself to be at a level where it is as good without Connor as it is with him, and when it's with him, it's even better. So, yeah, I think Draisaitl deserves a ton of credit. He's an incredible player.
Yeah. Now, speaking of McDavid, and you're right, Draisaitl's numbers, actually his points per game, and historically when McDavid's out, are ridiculously high, and actually higher than when he's in. So it seems to elevate. Now, it's a smaller sample size, so I understand that. But, McDavid has found his game, another 4-point night last night. He's pulled close to McKinnon. Now, Celebrini had a sick game last night, too. What a spinorama goal. Like, that guy, I think, he's cemented himself for sure on Team Canada, Dave. But what about Bedard? And is it all going to depend on what's the prognosis? Because if the injury says he's out until the end of January, is that still enough time for him to come back? Or unless he's coming back in early January, do you think that this shoulder injury might cost Connor Bedard a spot on the Olympic team?
Yeah, it might, because look, I mean, I think if you're bringing Connor Bedard, you got to play him in the top 6. Right? Like, you're not going to rely on him to kill you a penalty. You're not going to rely on him to check the other team's best players. He has to play in the top 6. Now, here's what's interesting. Do you bring Connor Bedard? Do you play him in the top 6? And if you bring Mitchell Marner, which I think they will, do you play him down the lineup? Because he's a guy that you can rely on to check, to kill a penalty. Would it be a shot to his ego? Probably. Should it be? I think if you're going to be on the Olympic team, you should check it at the door. But if you're willing to bring Connor Bedard in an offensive only situation, I think you name him to the team. Few people shoot the puck like Connor Bedard. Few people can operate on the power play the way that Connor Bedard can. Can Mitchell play that role? Sure. Is your team better if you've got Connor Bedard in an offensive role and Mitch playing on the third line? Also, probably yes. Are you willing to do that? That's the question. I think Connor's really been good. But in saying that, I know the management team tends to prioritize trust at tournaments like this beyond just sheer offensive prowess. And so, do you like Marner in a top 6 role, and do you like another guy down the lineup in more of a defensive role? That's their prerogative. That's their decision to make. I think there's a lot of people that would not be looking adversely at the management of Team Canada if they approached it my way, by bringing Bedard in a top 6 role and moving Marner down the lineup. I think that makes them a stronger team. Do they see it that way? That's the question. But I think the way he's played, he's come pretty close to earning the right. The fact that the injury occurred complicates matters a little bit, and that it comes right up against the tournament is a bit of an issue. But in saying that, if you name him and he proves himself not to be ready by that time, you can replace him. And it's really not that much of an issue. But I think he's played well enough to put himself on the team. I really do.
Dave, I don't know if you saw the press conference with Seattle and Lane Lambert.
It was weird.
They only allowed their Kraken media people to ask questions. And, lots of them never ask questions anyway. That might have been one of the dumbest, most thin-skinned decisions that I have ever seen. And if I was a Kraken media, any other guy, I just would have walked up and left. Right? And this isn't, to me, this is when the fact that the organization hasn't come out and apologized and said that will never happen again, that shows me they have no direction. They have zero leadership in where they're going.
Yeah, to be fully forthright with this, I just saw this about an hour ago when I was sitting down and just reviewing some stuff before I came on with it. So I haven't fully checked into it myself. What I would say is, this is going to sound a little bit arrogant, but that would never happen in a city like Edmonton or Toronto or New York. I need to check into this a little bit further because I need to know how this went down. What do you mean only the Kraken team media was allowed to, were they not in the room? Were they barred literally from the room?
No,
I don't know.
He was at a podium because most of the coaches now sit at the podium.
Right.
And only a team employee was allowed to ask
questions. But so my point is, what do you mean allowed? So the PR... The PR guy was only. Yeah. Do you think in Edmonton or Toronto that stops guys like you and I from asking the questions anyway?
It's fair. You just would have used your voice. Say, what are you doing?
Not a chance.
Yeah, it's not a good look at all for the organization.
Horrendous look.
To me, it shows you I have never loved Seattle's decision making, and I've said it. This is not hindsight. The day they did their draft, I was like, who are they drafting? It was the most passive draft you could think of. And I know they had success in year 2 and everyone's like, oh, see, it's all good. And it was great. Yeah. And then their fourth line, which scored 40 goals, which never happens. Their fourth line had 40 goals that year. And guess what? They got rid of their entire fourth line. Oh, Morgan Geekie, they didn't want to pay him $2 million. What's he doing now? It's got
might
more
have 60 goals this year.
Than, I think half of the top 6 in Seattle himself, right? Ron Francis has done a terrible job in Seattle. It's not talked about enough.
No, it's not. I agree.
Ron Francis got promoted up. How the hell you're losing and you get promoted upwards? That's just a sign of an organization that has no real direction for me.
I said it in the summertime with the way they navigated their offseason. What are they doing? What is the direction here? And they got off to a little bit of a decent start, and when they rolled through town here in Toronto in mid-October, they played a good game. They were pretty aggressive on the forecheck. They were a rambunctious bunch, and I was impressed. But I'm like, okay, that's a hard way of playing, and it's easy to do in game 1 of the playoffs. It's pretty tough to do for 82 straight games, and if they don't do that, they will not have a chance. And I just think it's proven to be too much to sustain what was a half decent start. So you look at the long-term moves they've made. They committed right away to Matty Beniers. This guy's got 4 goals this year. 4 goals. They jumped the shark on that extension. They don't score nearly enough to be able to contend. Nowadays, you need to be able to score. If you can't, you don't have a chance. In order to win, you need to play sound defensively. without question. But that alone can't get you to where you want to be if you cannot also score. And so they've committed to a bunch of guys that to me are decent players, but are over-slotted in their lineup for the amount of money that they're getting paid. And now they've gone through a terrible stretch. They've lost 9 of 10. And again, I'm going to check into that a little bit further. But for, if that's what happened, if a PR rep went to the front of the room and said, only these people will be allowed to ask questions, that won't happen in Toronto. You want to see mutiny on your hands, that'll do it. And that's just a really, really bad look.
Oh, it's a terrible look for them. One last one. Every week that passes, we don't really get much separation in the Eastern Conference, right? You've got, you know what? There's a little bit, but not much. You look at Montreal's in the second wildcard spot. They're 1 point ahead of Pittsburgh. The Pens have a game in hand. They're 1 point ahead of the Devils, 2 points against the Panthers, who have a game in hand. They're 2 points ahead of the Rangers, 3 points ahead of the Maple Leafs, who have games in hand. Like, it is not much separating them, right? Like, there's, I don't know. Like, this is the most unpredictable for the East. I think the West has 7 teams that I could comfortably say are playoff teams.
Yes.
Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota, Anaheim, Vegas, Edmonton, LA. No particular order. After then, and even LA, maybe 6. I'm not sold that much on the Kings. I think they'll figure it out, but maybe not. The Kemper injury could hurt him for a week or two. But like the Sharks, the Kings, the Mammoth, the Jets, the Blackhawks, like I'm not sure any of them are that good. But what about the East? Is there anybody you look and say, you know what? I think they're better than the record, and I'm very confident they will make it, excluding like Carolina and Washington and Tampa.
Yeah, like Florida's starting to get it together a little bit here. They've won a couple in a row. They won 5 of their last 10. They're only 2 points back in Montreal. They have a game in hand. They've done it all without Matthew Tkachuk, who, might come back in 3 weeks' time. If they can get him back, that'll help them. And there's just so much pedigree on that team. I look at them and say, I can't count them out yet. Like the New York Rangers, Jason, they've been shut out in 35% of their home games to this point. 7 times. 7 times. By the worst team in the league last night.
It's wild.
It's a tough look. The Leafs looked like they were in deep trouble last night, and then they played 3 minutes and they won a hockey game. If they hadn't won, they would have been 5 points back as opposed to 3. And man, when you're at this point, 3 is like, yeah, we're right there. 5, you're like, oh boy, we're in deep trouble now. So they kept themselves back into the mix. The Senators, like Linus Ullmark, brother, make a stop one of these days. He has been no good for the amount of money they're paying him. So I'm not that convinced with Ottawa. If we look and we say I think the Capitals are going to be in. I bet on them ahead of Philadelphia at this point. Tyson Forrest throughout the rest of the year, that doesn't help them. I think the Capitals are going to be fine. So let's call it in the Metro. Carolina, I think the Islanders are going to be in. I really do. They've really impressed me. And I don't see them dropping off. So let's call it Carolina, Islanders, and Washington in the Metro. In the Atlantic, I think, like, honestly, I don't even know at this point. Detroit, who knows? Boston, I didn't expect them to be this good. Do they have a reckoning at some point where the bottom falls out, where they've been overplaying through the first third plus of the year? Maybe. Tampa, I think, should be good, but man, Victor Hedman out for another 6 weeks. That's pretty bad, especially when Eric Chernak's nowhere to be seen and Ryan McDonough's nowhere to be seen and Vasilevsky's been banged up. They've got a ton of injuries right now. I think it's super wide open still in these. So it's almost wild to say, but I think it's too early to answer that question definitively, other than to say, let's not count Florida out. But even if they get in and someone else comes out, I still think there's a lot of spots to be had there in the East. It is as wide open coming in on almost a half season as I can ever remember.
Yeah. Davey, great stuff, my man. We will chat with you next Tuesday on the 23rd. Have yourself a wonderful day.
good to know you're back on the 23rd. I didn't know if it was vacation time, so close to Christmas here.
Yeah, we'll be here on Tuesday, but then we're off on our show's off. The morning show's on Christmas Eve, but then we're off.
Beautiful.
Once you get to noontime, most people leave at noon. We want to get home. We want some family time, so that's what we're doing.
Exactly. We'll talk to you next Tuesday, buddy.
You betcha. There's Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM. We got some bids coming in. We'll update you on that when we return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
We want orange. Give us the orange. We want orange. Bring back the orange.
You got it, Canada. Booster Juice orange smoothies are back by popular demand. The original, the marathon, and orangesicle smoothies are back and bursting with tangy zest of oranges. They're Canadian favorites. Orange, you glad they're back? Only for a limited time. So squeeze the day, smoothie lovers, and head to a Booster Juice near you now. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
I'm Gene Principe, bringing season's heatings from Legacy Heating and Cooling. For Yuletide comfort, you'll love this Christmas. You should.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
There's no better way to fix your furnace. You just.
Call Legacy.
They're professional, never rude, Dolph. You should.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Plus, no interest and no principal payments for 1 year when you buy with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Sports 1440 is your front row seat to the wild world of sports. Local legends, national headlines, and everything in between. Your game, your station. This is Sports 1440.
Top quality flooring, locally owned, and Canadian products from Beaulieu. Yeah, that's CFI.
CFI what?
No, CFI, Custom Floors Inc.
From free estimate to professional installation, contact Custom Floors Inc. at customfloorsinc.ca.
I'm Grant Fedork from Leading Edge Physiotherapy, and sadly, some people think orthotics are just glorified shoe cushions. But I've seen a runner drop 8 minutes off her marathon, a grandmother ditch her painkillers, and a 12-year-old nail her long jump, all thanks to custom foot orthotics. So if your feet are screaming for help, flat, high, or funky, that pain's heading to your knees, hips, even your lower back, our professionals will assess you and, if indicated, custom fabricate a pair of orthotics made just for you. Happy feet make a happy person. Feet shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Ring in the new year with a Canadian country legend. December 31st, in concert at the Silent Ice Center in Nisku. Brett Kissel. She drives me crazy. With special guests Haley Benedict and Morgan Clyburn. Bring your friends, your cowboy boots, and your party spirit for a night full of hits, celebration, and unforgettable memories. Hosted by Chris Sheets. The countdown to 2026 starts with Brett Kissel live on stage. Get your tickets now at silenticecenter.com/events.
You and I in a little toy shop, buy a bag of balloons with the money we've got. Set them free at the break of dawn, to one by one.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers are back in action, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play, score, and win every game. See more at OnTheRocksYEG.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
448. We got some bids in. Marta is up to $2,000 after Jack had come in. She's up to $2,000 now on our month of giving fishing package, courtesy of our Louis DeBrusque and our friends at Get Hooked Fishing Adventures. You and two friends, along with Louis DeBrusque, are going to be having a fun day of fishing. If you're an outdoorsman, outdoorswoman, you like fishing, this is the one for you. You fish all day long, many different spots along the river. Mike from Get Hooked is your guide, so he knows all the great spots. You stop, you get a catered lunch. It's unreal. You also will take you on, and you can learn how to gold pan along the banks of the North Saskatchewan. Of course, you pick a day that works. August to October is when the water clarity is its finest, and that's usually when it fishes best. So keep that in mind. But you'll be able to you'll be in touch with Mike and Louie, and you'll figure out a time in the summer that works for that. So that's up to 2,000. We're at 1,850 on our. That's still the deal right now. 18. That. To get that is awesome. So you look at the dinner. It's at Vivo Ristorante. Will be there. It's dinner for 12. Your group of 6, and you're going to have 6 special guests: Gene Principe, Jack Michaels, Louis DeBrusque, and their significant others. So if you want in, 833-401-1440. It's a 5-course meal. You sit down, you relax. Like, this will take many hours. So plan to relax. All your wine, all your cocktails, all your beverages, everything is included. It is an amazing night out, and you'll have a lot of fun. So, and great food. Trust me, if you've never been there. If you haven't been there, you tell us afterwards and I'll let you know. So we're helping out Sports Central, which gets kids playing the game. Okay, so you'll have a great dinner and you'll know, man, we just got some kids who could play sports. It can be life-changing for them. And the fishing package, we're going to help out Operation Friendship Senior Society. There's lots of people in society that get overlooked. So there you have it, 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Let's get to 5 question now, brought to you by The Brick. We're saving you more. That's what they do, because right now, you don't want to, maybe you don't want to get up early. You're like, I'm done. I don't want to get up early on Boxing Day. Well, you can get Boxing Day early access right now. Buy more, save more, 25% off bedroom and dining, up to 40% off mattresses and more at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1. What would you say was your biggest takeaway from the Oilers' win last night against the Penguins?
Vasily Podkolzin is he's on a ripper, man. That guy scored again. I like his dogged determination all over the ice, and it's been very noticeable. Obviously, he's scoring a lot of goals lately, but this is not just by fluke. This is a player who puts in a lot of work to improve his scoring. His effort is the doggedness that's kind of always been there, right? But you look at how many guys in the NHL have more goals 5-on-5 than Podkolzin. How about 21? That's it. He's tied for 22nd in 5-on-5 goals. Guys like Alex Ovechkin, Kyle Connor, Marty Necas, Kirill Kaprizov, Vasily Podkolzin at 5-on-5. He's been excellent. He had another good game.
Yeah, it's a good one. I mean, I said earlier, I liked how they responded after the Penguins scored goals. And I just seeing Connor McDavid put up the 4 points, I thought, he must be getting close to Nathan McKinnon, because McKinnon had such a big lead in the points race. And temporarily last night, he passed him. So that the Connor McDavid we know, I think, is back. 20 points in his last 8 games, 8-game scoring streak, 9 goals in those games. He's back, and he's playing some really good hockey along with a few other guys, including Leon Draisaitl, who had 1,000 points last night. So since he's reached the accomplishment, now we turn our attention to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 227 points away. He turns 33 this spring. Gregor, will he reach 1,000 points? And if so, when will it happen?
Go ahead.
I'm going to say yes. I want to see him get there. I think that'd be pretty cool. You go back to the last few years, 50, 60 points, obviously, that 104-point season. I don't think we're expecting that. So, makes it to age 38. I think it's going to take some time, but I'll say he does get there, and it's going to take him 4 seasons after this one.
Yeah, I look at McDavid, at Nugent-Hopkins. Let's say he gets another 40 points this year. So that puts him, then he would be 187 points away. So You do that 63 points a season for 3 years. Possible, yeah, but then there's going to be injuries, everything else. I think it gets it done in 4 years. My question is he doing it with it as an Edmonton owner, or is he somewhere else? That's my question.
Could you imagine? Question number 3 for you. Tua Tagovailoa benched this weekend in favor of rookie Quinn Ewers. What do you think the future holds for Tua with the Dolphins?
Well, they can't really buy him out, right? I was looking at his contract. Scheffler had put it out there. Like, he's not buying him out. He's just, you know what? He's going to have to regroup. Like, what's going wrong? Because 3 weeks ago, Cons, he looked great. Right? He had a 3-week stretch, and everyone's like, Tua's back. They're playing awesome. So, I don't know. Is there something behind the scenes here? His practice habits? I don't know. But his numbers have not been great. There's no doubt about that. So, he's going to have to figure it out. Like, you know what? He wouldn't be the first young QB who struggled. So if I'm the Dolphins and I look at Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield and all these other guys who, after a few years, they played pretty decent. Not superstars, but pretty good. Why can't Tua be the same? Rather than let him go somewhere else and then he becomes the quarterback he thought he would be. So now it's the Dolphins, so I'm not holding my breath.
Well, I mean, $53 million. I believe it was $90 million if they were to move on from him in dead cap. That is just an absolute killer. The injuries scare me. He's still just 1 or 2 hits away, and you just don't know what the future is going to be. And I've never really loved his arm strength. I've always thought if you get to those cold divisional games in Buffalo, in New England, is he the guy that can march down the field and win you a football game? I don't know if I've seen it. So I don't think there's anything they can do. I think they have to, regroup with him next year and hope that he can find his game. And, Tyreek Hill, we'll see if he's back. He tweeted out something today that might have you questioning if that's going to happen, but they just got to hope he finds his game. And like you said, maybe it's a change of coach and, they become more of that ground game with Devon Achane, who's a heck of a back, but not a great situation. I'm a little surprised they pulled this move here, unless there is some sort of injury. Question 4, Bo Bichette informing suitors today that he is willing to play second base in the future. Do you think that changes anything when it comes to negotiations with the Blue Jays?
Not really. Like, as if they didn't know this. Like, to me, this is Bo Bichette saying, geez, maybe I'm not going to get the money I thought I was going to get. So, everybody's, all you got to do is track his numbers. He's not a great defensive shortstop. He's an unbelievable hitter. So, yeah, if you can put him at second base where he doesn't have to, it's less range, right? You don't have as many balls there. So, yeah, it makes perfect sense. Why not? Because he's a really good hitter. So, this to me, I probably would have said it a long time ago. I understand if you want to play shortstop, but do you want to play on a competitive team? That's probably more fun. So, yes, will it help the negotiations? Well, I don't think it changed. I think the Jays told him, hey, we have the best defensive shortstop in baseball. So why don't we have the best defensive shortstop play shortstop, and you can play second base and be one of the best hitting infielders in the league? It's a win-win.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I think he's being paid for. Like, yeah, he can get the job defensively. He's not going to be the best, but he can be effective. But it's his bat is where he does the damage, and that's what's going to get him paid. So I think it's good to show some flexibility, kind of show, hey, I'll do what the team needs, but you got to pay me for the bat. So I don't think it's a bad idea for him to pull this move. Question number 5 for you was on this day in 1989. The Simpsons was premiering on Fox TV as a full animated series, not just the clip shows. It was Simpsons roasting on an open fire. So in honor of that, can you give me a favorite episode and a favorite character outside of the Simpson family?
Go ahead.
Rainier Wolfcastle, the actor who portrays McBain. I think he had some pretty good moments in the series. Some good lines. Favorite episode, like too many to just pick one. But the episode with Hank Scorpio, when Homer and they move to the new city and Homer gets the new job, and there's the hammock district. I thought that episode had some really good lines. Also, Homer Goes to Space is a good one. I could name a bunch, but I'll stop at those two.
Probably my favorite episode might have been when Homer buys a lobster, Pinchy. And then remember when he's crying, oh, Pinchy, and then he's biting him like, oh, Jay's so good. Like, it was such a classic Homer. That Pinchy makes me laugh a lot. So I would probably go with that one. As far as a favorite character outside of the Simpson family, wow. I'm probably going to go with Willie, right? When he rips off his shirt and he's just shredded. He's got the six packs, got the accent. But man, there's lots of good ones, right? Like even Flanders is kind of annoyingly funny at times, right? Like just how he can irritate Homer. The sisters, they're kind of classics.
Patty Selmer, yeah.
But yeah, I'll probably go with caretaker Willie.
Oh, when he rips his shirt off and says, "Grease me up, woman," and she's like, "Okie dokie," or whatever, like just nonchalant. Yeah, he's got some moments.
Oh yeah, so too funny. Good stuff. Ed came in at $2,000 on our dinner package. So here we go. We got a final hour here. Let's get this rolling here. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Got a lot of texts. Hey, guys, what about Barney when he kept drinking? Oh, yeah, that wasn't a great one. What about the Mr. Plow episode? Yes, that was him and Barney have like rival plows. That was awesome. So, man, there's a good one. Hey, guys, Tua calling out McDaniels earlier this year may have something to do with him. They kept him in there until they were mathematically out. So why play him now? Look at the rookie. Don't call it benching from Honest Joe. In a way, sure. But I guess, like, is McDaniels your coach of the future? And if you're the owner, are you going to allow the guy who's not your coach of the future? I guess maybe you're just saying, hey, this is who we're playing. So you're right behind the scenes. Maybe that's what they're doing. And that's not a bad decision. Although it's not like Tua's old. You're committed to Tua. There's nothing you can do. You can't buy him out. I guess you could trade him, but at that contract, probably not.
And why would anyone want Tua?
Yeah, well, at that contract, 100%. I agree with you. So might as well try to play him, try to work with him. And if McDaniels isn't coming back as a coach next year, well, maybe that's what they're doing. They're just, you know what, this coach doesn't like you. Let's just save you. Who knows? But it is an interesting situation. We'll come back. Mark Spector will join us from Beantown. We'll get our final hour of month of giving packages. We'll tell you what they are when we return on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Wish and win. You stop in, you play, and you could win $25,000 off the purchase of your vehicle. Guaranteed when you come in. You get $500 off minimum. So go in, wish and win, play. Good luck. NorthgateGM.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
5 games on the ice tonight in the NHL. The Kings in Florida taking on the Panthers. The Wings host the Mammoth. Jets take on the Blues. Hurricanes and Preds. And the Golden Knights hosting the Devils in the association. 2 games, both at 6. Bulls, Cavs, and the Grizz in Minnesota. In the AJ tonight, you got Fort Mac and Canmore and Old hosting Grand Prairie. Both those games will start at 7. And in the PWHL, midway through the first, Toronto up on Montreal 1-0. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, the month of giving rolls on. We'll also be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Vinny and Don in Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you know a student athlete interested in growing as a person and a player, register for a free shadow day. Beginner or experienced, this program develops a student athlete skill in a supportive environment. It's a great opportunity for prospective student athletes entering grades 3 through 12 to see what Vimy and Donnan have to offer. Visit vimyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.epsb.ca for more info and to sign up.
Boxing Week blowout starts early at the Brick. Find real Boxing Day prices early and beat the rush on the 26th. Score the best deals on electronics and appliances. Plus, save up to $1,000 off sectionals. Buy more, save more. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining. Up to 40% off mattresses. And up to $500 off big screen TVs. Don't wait for the crowds.
We hear
Shop
it
the
all.
Brick's Boxing Week early access event. Some exclusions apply.
Jason Gregor,
The
Connor.
Brick, saving you more.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports
$2,000
1440.
after Jack.
Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Picture this. You're sleeping and You're awake, but it's a good day because you're about to make your way to McDonald's to pick up some breakfast. Fast forward, you're there. What's this? You can now get all those breakfast classics penny style with rich, creamy hollandaise-style sauce. A happy little tear rolls down your cheek. You grab your small McCafe premium roast coffee, still just $1 plus tax every day. And see. Get up and at 'em with the Egg McMuffin. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada. Prices exclude delivery.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. My name is Tyler Smith, and you are never alone. NotAloneCo.com. It's okay to not be okay.
Get ready, Edmonton. Glow Christmas Festival returns to light up the Edmonton Expo Center from December 4th to 31st with dazzling activities for the entire family. Wander the glowing trails, meet Santa in his sleigh, and shop from over 30 local artisans and vendors with handcrafted gifts and holiday treasures, perfect for everyone on your list. Get your tickets and learn more about what's on this season by visiting the calendar of events at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. People are happy and children are grinning from ear to ear. Brentridge Ford hopes you enjoy the little things this festive season. Merry Christmas from Richard, Leslie, and the staff at Brentridge Ford in Wetaskiwin.
He's heading into the driveway. Temperatures dropping fast, folks. He opens the hood and, oh no, the battery's on thin ice.
Yeah, that's a tough break, Tim. I mean, you can't expect to compete and win with weak parts in your game like that.
But wait, he's made a clutch move. He's gone to Napa Auto Parts for the win. They've got batteries, winter-grade oils, antifreeze, and wiper blades built for cold Alberta conditions.
That's a championship play, Tim.
With over 85 Alberta locations, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation, 2 weekly podcast with Eddie Steele and Declan Kruger breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth Double E football coverage on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts, elksnation.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.507. Man, there's been a fleecing. We might have to talk about this in a sec. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Sports 1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. We have some bids coming in. We're up to $2,100 from Peter on our dinner at Vivo Ristorante. It's for 12 people, by the way. Vivo dinner at 12, and it'll be your group of 6, along with Gene Principe, Louis DeBrusk, Jack Michaels, and their wives. It'll be a fantastic night. 5-course meal, wine pairings, cocktails, beverages of your choice. You can have it in the private dining room if you want. It's going to happen at a date that works both for you, so it's not a set date. Don't worry. People have been asking, is it a set date? No, it's flexible on when you want to make it. So that's up to $2,100 with Peter. We're helping out Sports Central. So if you want to get kids back in the game, Kids Sport and Sports Central kind of work together, but they're different in what they're doing. And Sports Central gets all the equipment because you got to play hockey, football, soccer, whatever it is. Just have the gear so you can play, and what a difference that makes in kids' lives. So you guys will have a great dinner, have lots of fun knowing that you got some kids on the ice, on the field, on the pitch, wherever. It's great. Other package, Marta has that at $2,000, courtesy of Get Hooked Fishing Adventures. where you will be fishing the North Saskatchewan. Mike from Get Hooked is your guide, knows that like the back of his hand. You'll stop at many different spots. You fish all day long. You stop. You have a catered lunch in between. You're going to learn how to gold pan. There's about 26 different species of fish, but you primarily catch walleye, pike, goldeye, and sturgeon. And Louis DeBrusque, man, big outdoorsman. Loves hunting, loves fishing. Like, honestly, I bet you if I asked Louis, okay, you only get to pick one. Hunting, fishing, broadcasting hockey. He might pick hunting and fishing. No joke. Like, man, that guy, he loves it. Absolutely loves fishing. So that is at $2,000 from Marty. You can get in at 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Package number 1. Package number 2, 2,000 fishing, 2,100 for the dinner. And let's rock and roll. As it's time now to get to the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. New houses and roads are built every day, but before overpasses can go up or roads can be widened, the first step is relocating all the underground utilities to make way for the new infrastructure. And that's what they do at GS Construction. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us from Boston. Spec, how you doing?
Doing awesome, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. Real good. It was a game. I think the 1,000 point was like the most expected thing to happen in that game. I didn't think 4 points was going to happen for both McDavid and Draisaitl, but I read your piece about the points and where Draisaitl ranks and the comments from his players was great. I took a different route. I kind of went back to see, like, how does a guy from Germany with no outdoor rinks and not a lot of teams, he has to move away from home at 13 and many other things to become one of the best players in the NHL right now.
It's amazing that, like, it tells you a lot about the character of the kid and really, I guess, the parenting style that you'd send your kid all the way across the world from Germany to Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. And, the kid handled it just fine. The 16-year-old Leon Draisaitl, no problem. The parents were like, yeah, we'll come visit you a couple times. Like, there's a lot of, I don't know if I'd send my kid to Cologne, Germany at 16 or some German version of Prince Albert. That takes some guts on behalf of the kid for sure. And the parents too.
Oh yeah. No, it's talking to Peter and Sandra, who I'd seen him around, obviously never talked to him that much, but I got a real good insight. Like Peter had played in 3 Olympics, like he really understood hockey. Never coached his son. That was the part that was surprising. He's coached for 30 years, but he never coached Leon. And he said, I learned early that he didn't respond well to me coaching him. So no problem. He never coached him. And, they did a little bit of street hockey stuff together, but really just kind of was his dad. And, that's okay but that's not always the case. A lot of people think, hey, his dad is a good coach, so he must have coached his kid. And he didn't. And, it was Leon actually who went to his parents at 13 years of age and said, hey, I got to go to Mannheim. And Peter was like, what the, what are we doing here? But they did it. And, Sandra was very honest. She cried when he left, but said, I just can't stand in the way for my son. He's passionate about it. I got to support him.
Yeah. So that's, that's pretty cool. Like I listen, like your son's a lot younger than my kids. And, I look back now, my youngest is 24 and you look back and, hey man, there's no perfect parent. You're not looking at one. I'll tell you that right now, but you do the best you can. And I think you kind of judge yourself, the job you did on the end result of the human being and the adult, right? That comes out the other end of the thing. And, it's important that you create independence in your kids. Like your kid wants to go to Mannheim in that situation. You know what? Sure, you don't want that to happen. And sure, you're going to miss them. But listen, this is, I guess, me giving out parenting advice, which is kind of stupid, but you got to let your kid free. Like, when I hear about those kids that live at home at 35 and mom does their wash, like, no. That's not right for me anyway, as a parent. So good for the Draisaitls. Like they trusted their son. And as it turns out, Leon's a trustworthy guy, mature, and he handled it just fine.
Yeah. They had the T-shirts with them, smoking his way to 1,000 points, obviously having some fun with that. They had a big cake for him as well. 1,000 points, pretty big accomplishment. He's only the 103rd guy to do it, the 21st quickest to 1,000. It wasn't lost to me, Spec, though, that it was like, I don't know if you had a chance to talk to Skinner after the game or not, but man, like that had to be a tough situation. Like it's your teammates that literally were your teammates 72 hours ago, or well, maybe a little bit 96 hours ago. And, you'd been there for all those points. And then, they're celebrating literally 5 feet from your crease after the first goal of the game.
Yeah, the way NHL teams work now as a reporter, you just don't have time to go to both rooms. Like I stopped going to both rooms a long time ago because you end up getting nothing out of either. So I talked to Stu, of course, at the morning skate at length, but had I been in the room, that would have been the question is, what was it like? Like he turned his back to that group of Oilers and kind of cleared some snow. And you could just tell that he didn't even want to look at it. And I don't blame him. Every voice in that scrum of players hooting and hollering, he would recognize the voice because he knows those guys so well. That would have been a question I'd love to have heard Stu Skinner answer is what was that like standing there while that was going on? We've all seen the video today and you know what? I felt a little bad for him. That couldn't have been much fun for Stu Skinner, I guess. Huh?
No, not really. And, I guess, hey, you're the, you're a pro and you figure it out and away you go. And maybe in a way it's like, okay, you know what, this, you gotta create separation, right? So maybe as hard as it was, maybe it was easier. Like it wasn't lost to me that it was Brett Kulak who put it over the glass.
He was in the box when it happened. Yeah, I know.
Given an extra, well, and then McDavid scored right afterwards. And
oh my goodness.
But I like, hey, the superstars were the superstars and they were really great. No question about it. But there's two guys I want to talk about is Matt Savoy's now up to 7 goals, but Vasily Podkolzin has 9, Spec. There's only 21 forwards in the NHL who have more 5-on-5 goals than Podkolzin. Wow. Like he is playing like a legit top 6 productive winger at 5-on-5.
Good. And I mean, speaking of Draisaitl, right? This guy's been a project of Draisaitl's here for a couple years and it's coming together. And he's, like the guy that got drafted in the first round by Vancouver, he was a very productive junior. I was at his World Junior and man, oh man, was he good. And he scored and no one could handle him. Wasn't that guy for the first few years, but you know what? He's only 24. Some guys, it takes a while. And all of a sudden you got this guy you picked up for a 4th round pick and he's starting to score. And, a player, the quality and the, as good a player as Leon Draisaitl loves this guy and wants him on his wing every night. Like that says something about you, man. That says something. So, wow, who knows where it goes? Who knows how much he could score? Who knows if he doesn't produce like the guy Vancouver thought they were drafted, right? Who can, I'm not holding him back. Who knows what Vasily Podkolzin turns into, but he's already a damn valuable player for the Oil for sure.
Oh, yeah, he is. Well, he's just getting better, right? He's a young player. Yeah. He's a really young player who works hard. Like the one thing, no one ever questions the work ethic of Podkolzin. In the games, like he's dogging on the puck, man. Like the guy just seems like he has an end. Like he never seems tired in shifts. It's very impressive to me, but it's more so his work after practice, before practice, on just trying to get better finishing.
Yeah, and you know what? You love that. Like what a good example. There's a big cliche. Oh, first guy out in the practice ice, last guy to leave. Yeah, there's no cliche with this guy. We go to the practices. You see him. I see him. 20 minutes before the practice starts, he's out there. Like he's out there with the goalies who do early work every day. So you know what? It's a great example that he's got his head on straight. This kid, he works and works and works. He's got a good attitude. He works in the games. He never takes a night off, all those things. And good things, I guess, Jake, eventually come to good people, right? And you got to love the kid. You got to, flamed out in Vancouver and didn't let that set him back. Came here and said, I don't care what people say about me. I'm going to be the player I want to be. And look what he's turning into.
Yep. No, it's been
good. Good for him.
Yeah. Looking at, I know it's baby steps, Spec, but Matt Savoy scored essentially while being a fourth line. Hudson made the zone entry, made a nice move around it. Eventually goes to Frederick and Janmark, and Hudson changes. Savoy comes on and gets the goal. But it was desperately needed some contribution from six guys. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not getting much out of their depth guys at this point. It's got to come. Like, I think it'll come. I mean, there's a few things that are going to happen here. Like Roslovic's going to come back. Let's say just for fun, that pushes Savoy onto the third line. That'll make your third line a little more dangerous. Or, I know you think maybe Nuge goes to third line center. If he does that, that makes your third line more dangerous. Now you push someone down to the fourth line. Kapanen comes in. I think Kapanen's shown himself to be a guy that's been productive in the third, fourth line role. And at some point, a guy like Mangiapane or Frederick, you'd think either heats up or sits down, one of the two. Like, we're almost halfway point in the season, and those two guys haven't helped much. So I don't think they'll stay that way. I think at least one of them will improve and start to score. But, it's all I got for you, man. They need some depth scoring. It hadn't been good enough. And the other thing I think they got to work on here, Jay, is starting to keep the puck out of their net a little bit. The Oilers are since November 22nd, they're the highest scoring team in the league. But, McDavid is an even player. He's second in the league in scoring, and he's an even player. That can't work.
Yeah. Well, it really started in the month of October, right? Like they were so bad 5-on-5 and giving up a lot of goals and even strength that it hurt them. But I agree. Like the thing is lately, like you look at the Toronto game, the Oilers dominated the whole game. Toronto scores late, in the final minute, 6-3.
Yeah, they're giving up some cheap goals.
Some cheap goals at the end, right? Like they had that game pretty much in control. And those late goals, people are going to look and say, "Oh, Tristan Jarry save percentage." Tristan Jarry, up until the Oilers don't fall asleep. Now he's made some big saves early for sure, but I've actually liked his two performances.
Hey, listen, he's making the saves when they count. And yeah, they're getting some cheap goals at the end of the game, but no, and Pickard in Montreal, this is where numbers don't tell the story. Pickard lets in 4 in Montreal. Oh my God, was he good? They had no business being that hockey game after 2 periods. And I think the score was 2-0 for Montreal. They're totally in the game because Pickard stopped 4 breakaways. So, listen, I think a couple things have to happen, and I think they will happen. Some depth scoring's got to emerge from somewhere. I think it will. And, I just looked at their top 5, their top 5 unit. That would be McDavid, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins with Ekholm and Bouchard. That's sort of their top 5 guys, right? Well, in that group, there's nobody that's better than +3 right now. They get all the ice time. They score the majority of the goals. They're on for all the important minutes, or most of them.
Mm-hmm.
That group's got to play better defensively. They got to keep more pucks out of their net. I think that's fair to say.
I would agree with you on that. What have you made of Regula's game lately?
It's kind of funny, eh? Just at the start of this road trip, like in Toronto, didn't it start in Toronto? Started in Toronto.
Started in Toronto.
He really played a creative game. Gave up, made a bad play. Tavares got a breakaway, got stopped. But all of a sudden, I thought he was hanging on to the puck and moving the puck. And geez, I thought, wow, what an awakening. And then he was the same in Montreal. Not bad. I think something's gone on with this kid where he's decided to try to be a little bit more creative, but he's also, in doing so, made a couple plays that went south on him. So he's not as safe, I guess is what I'm saying, Jay. He's not quite playing as safe as he was, and I don't mind that. I think it's time to come out of his shell. If he's got those skills, let's try him out. Let's, hang on to a puck, make a play. Sure, you're going to get burned once in a while. But you know what? If Bouchard can get burned once in a while, Regula can get burned once in a while too if he can produce offensively.
Oh, you know what? Hey, you're going to have some errors. And really, Regula is a guy who's supposed to move the puck better. And earlier on, he wasn't. So maybe they're like, hey, man, just relax. Because you can't move the puck and then expect guys to never make mistakes. That's idiotic.
Absolutely.
Right? People who think, puck movers, that means they never move the puck to the wrong area. Of course, they're going to sometimes. I thought you know what it's like, but you also have to know the time of the game. It's the end of the first period. It's 2-0. You've controlled the period. You have
he hit the linesman with that puck.
Yeah, but the safe play was right up the boards,
Yes,
right? Like it was wide open. So that's what I'm saying. Like there's a minute left in the period to say, hey, you know what? We don't need to try. I get it, but guess what? You still hit the linesman. That's unfortunate, but there was wide open safe play on the boards with 45 seconds left. And so sometimes, clock management does matter.
Oh, for sure. There's a time to put creativity away. You'll notice that a lot of goaltenders who go out of their net to catch a puck that gets rimmed into the zone, they don't do it on a PK because they're outnumbered, and if something goes sour, it's a bad idea. That's kind of game management. And you're right. I mean, I watched Regula. He drilled that linesman with a puck. It wasn't the linesman's fault. He had nowhere to go. He hit him with a puck. So yes, I mean, let's face it. There's clock management. You play a little different in the last shift of a period than you probably do in all the ones that precede it, and I don't mind that.
Spec, enjoy Boston. We will chat with you at the May.
All right, sounds good, brother.
There you go. That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. We got some more bids in. Ed is in at $2,200 now on our Vivo Ristorante dinner with Principe and Michaels and Louis DeBrus. There's 6 of you. There'll be 6 of them. You're going to have a great time. 5-course meal, all wine pairings, cocktails, beverage in the private room at Vivo. Buddy, it's unbelievable dinner. So that's currently at $2,200. And Marta came in after Mike had a bit of a 21.25. Marta came in at $2,250. So rock and roll. We got about 20 minutes left. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. You can help out Sports Central as well as Operation Friendship Senior Society today. And we'll return on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. DVD is next.
At GS Construction, we focus on building a culture of collaboration, innovation, and respect. Our teams work together, supporting one another and striving towards shared goals. We're committed to creating a work environment that empowers individuals, values teamwork, and ensures everyone feels respected and safe. With decades of experience in the field, GS Construction prioritizes our people, our culture, and safety. This is what makes us unique. To find out more, go to gsconstruction.ca.
Across the province, Albertans are taking their shot on Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they make a minimum $50 deposit with code Gregor50. That's code Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
The future of female hockey is here. It's season 2 of the Female Super League, the first ever female-only independent hockey division in Western Canada, with teams from British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. Featuring 16U, 14U, and 12U divisions, the FSL brings showcase weekends packed with thrilling games, and our 14U and 16U have been pioneering the advanced body checking rule, empowering young players. The Female Super League, where the best in female hockey takes center ice. Details at femalesuperleague.com.
Cheer on the teams. Help a good cause. The Benz Cup is coming to the Ardrossan Recreation Center, December 26th to 30th. 100% of the proceeds help the Ben Stelter Foundation bring proton beam therapy to Edmonton. Learn more at benscup.com. Proudly supported by Sports 1440.
Reason number 59 why Nissan is built for our winter. Because when winter storms make on-road feel like off-road, we've got you. Rogue comes standard with intelligent all-wheel drive and remote engine start to conquer even the harshest winter conditions. Now, lease a 2026 Rogue S for 0.9% for 36 months, or get $4,000 cash purchase bonus on remaining 2025 models. Visit your local Nissan dealer today or Nissan.ca for more details. Conditions apply.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information. Ho, ho, ho! 'Tis the season to find the perfect gift. at the perfect price at Leduc Goldsmiths.
The annual Christmas sale is on now with 10 to 25% off all in-store products. All natural and lab-created diamond engagement rings up to 25% off with a wide selection available. You'll have no trouble finding the right piece. The team at Leduc Goldsmiths have years of expertise to help find what you need. Leduc Goldsmiths on Main Street, Leduc. Leduc's Jewelry Store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site service? Rain or shine, Japa's service department is here for you. Get a quote now at japamachinery.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Five 529. We continue on. Hey, the bids keep coming in. It's all good. Just keep trickling in. I like it. We're up to $2,300 now from Peter on the Vivo Ristorante dinner. And Marta has the fishing trip at $22.50 to go fishing this summer, of course. Courtesy of Get Hooked Fishing Adventures. You're going to be with Louis. This is like the Louis DeBrush day because, we go fishing with Louis. And then another time you're going to have dinner with Gene Principe, Louis DeBrush, Jack Michael, and their wives. The dinner at DeVivo is 5-course meal, everything in your choice. All the money goes to Sports Central. So we got about 20 minutes left. 833-401-1440. We can push this a little bit more. Hey, you know what? Carrie's dinner went a little bit higher. I'm just saying. Just saying. Clearly, radio is better than TV. That's basically what I've deducted from that in-depth investigation. That's what I'm coming up with. We'll see. We shall see. Now, let's get to the oil report brought to you by Go Auto. Go Auto has donated more than $24 million to local charities and takes pride in supporting the communities where they live and do business. GoAuto.ca. As we welcome in from NHL.com, covers the Oilers, the Jets, the Flames, the Canucks. Derek Van Diest joins us. DVD, how are you, my man?
Good, Jason. How are you doing? Just trying to avoid the snow today. So I've been home all day. So I get to work from home today. So
lucky guy. Yeah. Anybody out on the road, Serenity now. Take a little extra time. And you'll be good. Lots to discuss here. Last night, an emotional night. You could see the hugs afterwards from Skinner and his teammates, and Draisaitl 4 points. McDavid 4 points. The big guys are going. But man, Savoy and Podkolzin continue to score. DVD. The Oilers' power play just continues to roll. But I want to start with Tristan Jarry. How do you think he did in his homecoming back in Pittsburgh, which I think had to be pretty emotional? He got a really good standing ovation from the crowd.
Yeah, he did. And it's interesting because everyone was talking about Stuart Skinner and how he's going to feel about facing his former team, first game back and things like that. But I'm sure Jarry is going through the same emotions. And my understanding is that he didn't get a tribute video because they don't do tribute videos in Pittsburgh unless you won a Stanley Cup. So, but I think a lot of people are happy to see him back. And it's one of those things that you get traded and your whole world turns upside down and you're trying to make arrangements. And, if you're Stuart Skinner, you're trying to get visas and you're trying to get everything done. And then all of a sudden, bam, you're playing against your old team. And that visual with the two goaltenders each having the other mask, like Stuart Skinner wearing the Oilers mask and Tristan Jarry wearing the Penguins mask. It's just, I don't think you're ever going to see that again. But I thought he played well. I thought he made the save that he needs to make. He's getting scored out on rebounds, and you can't really always blame a goalie if he makes the initial save and someone buries a rebound. That's the point of defensemen are supposed to be there to help clear those rebounds. But he's playing. He's making the saves they need to win. And I think that's what the Oilers want from him right now. They need the big saves, make the big saves at the opportune times to give us an opportunity to win. But, the way McDavid and Draisaitl and some of those guys are rolling right now, those top two lines are playing incredibly well. They're better defensively than they have been in a long time. And I think Jarry just fits into that puzzle really well. So I think right now, if you look at the Oilers, I think they're only 4 points out of first place in the Pacific. And for all the doom and gloom that was going on early on in the season, and for all the changes people had to make, they're a winning streak away from getting to the top of the division again. It's just that tight. So, I think right now, I think they're very happy with the way Tristan Jarry's playing. He's only going to get better as he gets more comfortable behind this defense. And I think the one thing that stood out for me is how well he plays the puck and how good he is shooting the puck down the ice. There was that one instance, stopped the puck, shot it down the ice. And that is a huge, huge help for your defense when your goaltender can play the puck that way.
Oh God, yeah, it is. It's the one dump in, man, where he just wheel out, then he just comes down the side of that and dumps it out the ice. I'm like, oh man, the players, like every defense is like, that's unreal, man. Like, great, we're up, we're out, and haven't had to do anything, so it's awesome. It is an advantage for certain. The Penguins themselves. I watched that game. Now I know Malkin's hurt and stuff, but even then, I look at them and I'm like, man, like. Brett Kulak can't be long for Pittsburgh because I think they're going to look at him and say he's somebody that teams are going to want at the trade deadline.
Yeah, they're kind of in this middle ground here, right? They're supposed to be rebuilding, and I think, they wanted to stick around and they wanted to kind of build a team for Crosby, give him one more kick at the can. And I think they were playing above themselves early on in the season. Crosby was playing the lights out. They were playing really well. They were getting all these points, and people said, hey, maybe they're not as bad as they seem. But I think now they're going to come down to reality a little bit. Everything's going to settle in, and then they're kind of in a crossroads here. They're kind of on their way up from a rebuild, but not quite there. So it's going to be really tough for them. And I think Kyle Dubas is going to have to make some really tough decisions there when it comes to some of these superstar players. At what point do you got to cut the cord and say, okay, we're going to have to bring in some younger guys and do this thing all over again? I know the Penguins don't really want to do that. My understanding is that they're trying to attract a new owner, so you don't want to go into full rebuild when you're attracting a new owner. So there's a lot of things at play here. But yeah, they're kind of that team that's stuck in the middle right now. They're not really bad. They're not really good. So it's going to be interesting to see where they kind of settle out once the season is done.
What's interesting is when I look at them, they actually, that new deal from the Hoffman family is supposedly done. Like, and the Fenway didn't own him very long, right? That's what I find kind of interesting here.
Yeah, almost kind of like they took them and flipped them, right? So yeah, it's interesting to see, but obviously there's lots of things to be kind of done before it's all settled and done with. So, but I think the important part of it is, from my understanding, they didn't want any retained contracts. That's why they couldn't retain money on Jarry, and they don't want to bottom out because it's tough to sell tickets for a team that's bottoming out. So yeah, a lot of things come into play there. But kudos to them. They're Crosby's playing great at 38 years old. They're still a competitive team. They were playing really well until they started blowing leads. Like, I was watching that game against the Sharks, 5-1. I was like, oh, this game's over. I flipped it to another game, came back, and it was 5-4. And I was like, what is going on here? They lost that game in overtime. So, holding on to leads has been a problem for Pittsburgh lately, which they didn't have that problem yesterday because they were chasing the game the whole game. But yeah, they got to kind of figure that out.
Yeah, no question. Derek Van Diest joins. DVD, I haven't had you on, and I know that you cover the Canucks as well. Then since the Quinn Hughes trade, I actually think that deal's pretty good for both sides. Vancouver, hey, you never want to lose the best player, but they got 3, NHL players, and they get a first-round draft pick that if their scouts use properly, that could be a 4th player. Like that, it's not a terrible return when your star player says, I'm walking in 18 months.
No, I think it was quite a good return. I think they got, you're right. They got 3 first-rounders and another first-rounder on the way. So they basically got 4 first-round players for Quinn Hughes, who it becomes an unrestricted free agent at the end of next season. It could just walk anywhere, and he wasn't going to come back to Vancouver. So it's one of those things that they were dealing from not a position of strength. They were dealing from everybody knows he's leaving your team. But I think they got lucky that Minnesota said, hey, we need to slide in here with a deal that they can't pass up, and we got to take this guy. And if we're going to make a run at a championship, we're going to have to do it here. I thought it was a bold move by Bill Guerin, but I love the return that the Canucks got. And now they don't have to, they can expedite any sort of rebuild that they were thinking of because they already got 3 young first rounders, and they're going to have another one. And they still got other young kids in the pipeline. Abbotsford won the AHL championship last year, so they got some good players there. So suddenly what looked like, oh, you're going to have to gut this team, you're going to go all the way to the bottom, you're going to rebuild from the top. Now suddenly that's expedited, and you're looking at this returning, like those are 3 pretty good players they got. And we'll see how it goes here. But I thought it was a great return for Vancouver, a lot better than anyone else had set up. And I also think I admire the fact that Minnesota's taken a shot. We're going to bring him in here for a year and a half. We're going to try to sell him on Minnesota. We're going to try to sell him on the organization. And hopefully he'll want to stick around for a little while after he becomes an unrestricted free agent. Everyone's talking about how, no, he's got to go play with his brothers in New Jersey. But right now, New Jersey's got to make some room. And yeah, it's nice to play with your brothers, but your team is not going to be competitive. Then it's not so much fun. So when Hughes is going to go to a team that can be very competitive right away, could be a cup contender, maybe they convince him to stick around and stay there and play beyond the end of his contract.
Yeah, it's very. You know what? I think there's a very good chance that Bill Guerin, I'll be quite surprised, because here's the thing: the more I hear everybody say, "Oh, I want to play with my brother," and I could see if it was Jack, but if he goes and plays with Luke and Jack, he basically kicks Luke off the first unit power play.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, you're the older brother. You look and say, man, so that's going to, I know he's got his contract, but that's going to impact his future earnings and all those sorts of things. I know that's a storyline that would he like to play together? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen in their prime? I'm actually going to say no.
Yeah, you're right. I think this is something that could happen later on in their careers when they're done their maximum whatever contract they could get. Because I think all 3 of them, because I don't think you can fit those 3 contracts under one salary structure. And if you do, you're going to have to gut the rest of that team. And New Jersey's a team that's on the rise, and they believe that they're close to being a contender. They've slipped back a little bit this year. But yeah, this was a team that was bad for a lot of years. They built through the draft. They came up here. Now do you want to blow it all up because the brothers want to play together? I'm not sure if you want to do that. So I think it's kudos on Minnesota saying, hey, they saw the situation, went, we're going to sell him in Minnesota. We're going to sell him on our organization. We're going to sell him on our team. We're going to sell him on our city. And hopefully he wants to stay there. So it's going to be an interesting next year and a half for Quinn Hughes. But I'll tell you what, if Minnesota's winning, if they become an elite team in this league, which they're very close to doing right now, they have a lot of good pieces. Why wouldn't you stay? Why wouldn't you stay? And winning is the one thing that players say they want to do. So if you're on a winning organization, you usually want to stay there. And that's why the owners have been so successful. And that's why Florida's been so successful. And I think that's a reason why if Minnesota's successful, they're going to attract some free agents there as well.
DVD, great stuff, my man. Always good to catch up with you. We will chat with you next week. Have a lovely Wednesday. Stay warm. Now, you don't even have to shovel, do you? You don't have.
No, I live in a condo, so I'm good.
No shoveling. For you, right?
No shoveling for me. And I have underground parking, so my car's going to stay there.
Just
living
it's
not bad.
The hard part's going to be for you to have to stroll down the street to go for a beer. Right? That'll be the toughest part, eh? Put on your boots. Put on your boots.
Yeah, the 3 blocks to get to the bar. Yeah, it's that's the toughest part.
So we'll talk to you later, man. Have a good one.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. That's Derek Van Dies from NHL.com. We've had some bids in some action. I like it. We're up. We went from $2,300, and now Marta's back in at $2,500 on our package. And I think Steven has the bid at $29 for the Vivo dinner. So we'll keep it going. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We got about, be sure to answer your phones because Cons likes to call everybody maybe for the last bid, and we'll see where it goes. 833-401-1440.
Performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicks things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Boxing Week blowout starts early at the Brick. Find real Boxing Day prices early and beat the rush on the 26th. Score the best deals on electronics and appliances, plus save up to $1,000 off sectionals. Buy more, save more. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining, and up to 40% off mattresses and $500 off big screen TV. Don't wait for the crowds. Shop the Brick's Boxing Week early access event. Some exclusions apply. The Brick, saving you more.
Picture this. You're sleeping and you're awake, but it's a good day because you're about to make your way to McDonald's to pick up some breakfast. Fast forward, you're there. But what's this? You can now get all those breakfast classics penny style with rich, creamy hollandaise style sauce. A happy little tear rolls down your cheek. You grab your small McCafe premium roast coffee, still just $1 plus tax every day. And see. Get up and at 'em with the Egg McMuffin. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada. Prices exclude delivery.
Do you sit around at work listening to sports radio all day? That's right, my friend. There's no shame in it. It's the good life. And we're not here to snitch. Say, if your company advertised on Sports 1440, you could be the one listening for your company's ad every day. Now you've got an excuse to listen to Sports 1440 all day. It's part of the job. Sounds like someone's getting a promotion. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit FountainTire.com today.
The holidays are all about giving back. And this year at GMC, we're giving everyone something truly special. Our Wish and Win event is on now. Visit us for your chance to save up to $25,000 towards a new 2025 or 2026 GMC vehicle, including the stylish Sierra 1500 Elevation Crew Cab, the dependable Sierra 2500 HD, the adventurous Canyon, and the family-ready Terrain. No purchase necessary. Ends January 2nd. For full rules, see your GMC dealer or wishandwin.ca/rules.
Measles outbreaks are occurring in Canada, including Alberta. These outbreaks are highly preventable. Measles is an extremely contagious disease that is spread easily through the air. The best way to protect yourself, your family, and your community is to ensure you are up to date with your immunizations. Don't get measles. Get immunized. Visit alberta.ca/measles to find out if you're up to date and what to do if you're not. A message from the Government of Alberta.
When it comes to sports in Edmonton, Jason Gregor is a must listen. He brings you the inside scoop with guests from across North America. If it matters in sports, you'll hear it here first. Gregor rolls out weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports 1440.
Portions of this hour brought to you by EWEL. Get your power play amped up with EWEL, supplying the city of champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. EWEL.ca is your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.546. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Marta has it at 2,500, and I think Marta's going to get the fishing bid unless someone comes in out of the blue. But Con says we're at 2,900, I think, right now with Stephen. But Cons will be calling a few people that were bidding, and so be sure to answer your phone. And we always like to go that when we have multiple people. You know, I don't know if somebody wants to come in late on the fishing trip, feel free to do it. 833-401-1440. But Marta has it right now at $2,500 to go fishing at Get Hooked Fishing Adventures with Louis DeBrus, 3 friends coming up. In the summertime, you kind of pick when you do it. North Saskatchewan, you fish all day, you get catered lunch. It should be a lot of fun. So we'll see. Now, a few other texts to get to, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, I know you mentioned the shirts of the Edmonton Oilers. I thought that was a classic. I remember they did it with McDavid. I assume they're going to do it with Nugent Hopkins. I also noticed the cake. Do you know how do they get that cake made in Pittsburgh? Well, it wasn't made in Pittsburgh, Al. That cake, you know what? Like, that cake came with the team on the plane. So that was on the trip the whole time, because it's Art of Cake right here in Edmonton makes it. And Gloria, if I'm not mistaken, is the baker extraordinaire for that cake. And it is, it's pretty good, actually. I don't know, Collins, did you see it?
Oh, yeah. Got permission
we put it
from
up.
Jeremy to put up on our social
Okay,
medias.
perfect.
Great cupcakes at the Art of Cake as well. But yeah, they did a great job. Looks awesome.
Oh, yeah. No, if you're ever looking and you need like a special cupcake or, special cake like that, like that's a pretty big cake. So it looks really good. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, with you. A few other news and notes from around the National Hockey League. Tonight, the Mammoth, they are struggling. They are in Detroit to take on the Red Wings. No score early on there. The LA Kings on the road in Florida. Yoel Armia has his 8th goal of the season. They lead 1-0 late in the first period. The Jets taking on the Blues. You got the Hurricanes and the Predators, and then the Devils and the Golden Knights. Gregor, how do you get a cake across the board? I can't get a bottle of water across. Well, it's, you probably get a special made cake. Like, I think it's all right. Right? They look at that and they're like, I don't think you're smuggling something in like that. They probably show them what it is, and people realize what's going on. So there you have it. Because just tell the dare. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, do you think with McDavid and Draisaitl rolling right now is now a time to give Tomasic another look potentially and move Nugent Hopkins to the third line? Well, Tomasic can't even get in the lineup on a regular basis, so I'm going to guess unlikely for that. And we just got a bid here from Kurt at $4,000 on the Vivo Ristorante dinner. So there you go. Kurt's coming in with some punch here a little bit later on. I like it. And so hey, we'll give him a call and give Steven a call and the other fellas that are in on it and see what's going on. So we're up to 4. That's kind of late bump up. I like it, Cons. A little bit of a flex there. A little bit of a flex. That's perfect. So we'll see what goes on there. I don't think Tomasic is like he can't get regular in the bottom, but I don't see it happen. Cons, do you think there's a chance that they would give Tomasic another look in the top 6?
Oh, I mean, I don't think right now. I think, the kind of feels like the top 6 is starting to roll and you're starting to get what you want to see from the members of that group. So I wouldn't say right now. I think, it would probably take some struggles. Maybe the team struggles and you're trying to balance out your top 9 to get him back up there. I think the opportunity's gone. I think when Zach Hyman came back healthy, that was kind of the end for that.
Yeah, I look at where the texter's coming from, perplexed Oiler fan. I don't mind his thinking because I do believe that I think that Nugent Hopkins, and having talked to Chris Knobloch numerous times, that he thinks Nugent Hopkins is a better third line center. They like him at center. I think he can go both ways, right? Which is great. But I don't mind if they said, you know what, let's try Tomasic, see what happens for a game. But I think it'd be unlikely. That's all I'm going to say. I think it would be unlikely at this point. So we'll see where it goes. I think that when Kapanen, now he's probably not back until after Christmas. Roslovic, there's a maybe before Christmas. Man, it didn't look good for Curtis Lazar last night originally. Kind of thought, oh my God, he's not coming back. But luckily he came back and played, and so it doesn't look like anything too serious. We'll see. Who knows? But man, the way he was on the ice, the way he went in there, you're thinking, oh, just another injury. But no. Hey, boys, where does Frederick fit in when Kapanen and Roslovic are back from BG? Well, probably on the fourth line. Like, honestly, like, he's got to find something. Like, he didn't even play 10 minutes last night. Now, what was weird, though, is, you know when I can tell guys have no confidence? I looked at his shift. So he played 12 shifts. Mangiapane played 13, and Mangiapane played almost 3 more minutes in total ice time. That, to me, is what's wild. So, we'll see. Marta's got the fish. We got some calls to do on the as we get to the break on the Vivo dinner. But, Marta, you got the fishing one, and we got some guys calling that we'll give an extra minute or two to counter the Kurt $4,000 bid for Sports Central and the Vivo dinner. So we'll see where that goes. But it's been an awesome Wednesday afternoon. Drive safe, everyone. We will talk to you tomorrow. The Oilers and the Boston Bruins. We also got lots of other NHL and NBA talk. If you missed our first hour today, the president and CEO of the Los Angeles Dodgers was on for an hour with us. It was fantastic. So you want to get that anywhere where you get podcasts, or you can watch it again at YouTube or jasongregor.com. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Loca. Your next dinner is ready at Loca Quality Market Gourmet Meals. Choose from over 200 chef-prepared meals in-store or online. Meals.loca.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
5 games in the NHL tonight, 2 underway after 20 minutes. Kings on top of the Panthers 1-0 midway through the first. Red Wings and Mammoths scoreless. Later tonight, Blues taking on the Jets, the Canes in Nashville, and the Devils up against the Vegas Golden Knights. In the association, 2 games starting at 6. Bulls, Cavs, and the Grizzlies taking on the Timberwolves. PWHL midway through the second, Montreal and Toronto tied at 1 apiece. In the AJ this evening, Fort Max and Canmore and Olds hosting Grand Prairie. Both games will start at 7. That's going to do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, it is Fox Sports Radio all night long. Live local coverage resumes tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with Kevin Carius and Brandon Douglas here on Sports 1440. Also streaming on our YouTube channel, Sports 1440 AM. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting